What's up, gamers? Oh man, feeling pretty good today. We had super good weather around these parts. It was like 67 and sunny. So I got out and I did a few laps around the neighborhood in the sun, which was awesome. Haven't done that in a while. I didn't bother with sunscreen or any of that bullshit because I'm actually okay with getting a tan. And I have not been out in the sun too often because I'm always under a bunch of fucking fluorescent lights in the gym if I'm actually getting steps in here lately. So very nice change of pace to actually be able to get outside and feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. So let me throw my headphones on and I'll switch this over here. All right, my chair is extra creaky here lately. I gotta get it fixed. Probably just WD-40 or something. No echo effect on the snap, so I apologize. Whew. But yeah, today was fucking awesome. The weather was a blessing for real. I needed that big time. And I'm really happy that we finally got some sunlight, for the love of God. I'm so tired of it just being fucking cloudy and freezing. That's all we've been getting lately is cloudy and freezing. Fucking tired of it. So that was nice. And on top of that, I'm just excited to get back to recording these podcasts. I mean, I'm just going to record them and upload them on YouTube. I was going to do like the whole, everywhere you get your podcast thing, like, you know, Spotify and Apple and all that shit. I'm not going to bother with uploading it in like, you know, SoundCloud and every platform under the sun. I'm just going to throw it on YouTube and leave it there. It ain't that serious, okay? Have a pretty extensive list of topics. We don't have a guest this time, but like I said, I have reached out to some people that I would like to have on. I mean, it's literally a tiny fucking show. It's not like I'm asking them to do a lot, but it is still their time, and I do need to respect that. Especially if it's on a weekday or a school night, as they say. A college night. Yeah, last stream we watched a very cool Nightmare Fuel video. I really, really fucking liked it. It was Lost Media. And I actually, because of that, ended up watching some more episodes of that fucked up Moment of Truth show. Oh my god, dude. They ask the most depraved questions. That show is like the definition of when reality TV goes way too fucking far. Just a second. Yeah, they had a lady and her mom, her mom was like 57 years old, and she was in her mid to late 20s, and they asked her, are you okay to look like your mom when you're her age? And she had to say no, and it was true. Like, with her mom sitting right there, that's a really fucked up thing to do. But I mean, she has to be honest to win the money, because so there's the fucked up dynamic in the whole game show, you know? Okay, yeah, and also I do have a fresh cut tonight, so that's also feeling pretty good. Nothing like a fresh cut and then going to walk outside, that's for sure. Okay. This is Wrong is Right. Off of very underrated Silent Hill 0, known as Origins in the States, but Silent Hill 0 in Japan. This soundtrack is very, very underrated, and I like it a lot. It has a lot of really good stuff on it. The only problem is I can't play a lot of it because it has vocals. And because it has vocals, DMCA, your shit is muted virtually instantly. So you can't be messing with all that. But what I can mess with is coffee. Oh yeah, has there been any more news about, I'm gonna look it up right now actually. Any more news about Born from a Wish coming out in Silent Hill 2 Remake? Potentially, people say. Well, they do reference it a lot in the main game, so it's highly likely that it will exist at some point, but I don't know the timetable for that or what it looks like. But they did reference it in the main story, like you walk by the... What is that guy's last name? It's Ernest something. But you walk by his house and she kind of mentions something in passing about it. So they do like subtly nod that, hey, this is an important area. So I hope, I mean, that DLC should be really easy to do. It's not like it's that long. And similar to the way the original Born from a Wish got made, like all they had to do was, you know, all they had to model was the Ernest, the manor or whatever it was that his family lived in. Everything else was just areas you go to as James. I mean, they gave her like a cleaver and a pistol, so different weapons, but that was about it. Let me see. Dude, it's so fucking weird that every time I Google something now, the first thing I see is a big ass AI overview. God, so dystopian, dude. Ernest Baldwin. Yes, the Baldwin Manor. Or mansion, whatever. But yeah, so the original Born from a Wish on PS2 came about because they needed a reason to re-release the game as a greatest hit. Now, not always, but a lot of times Sony or whatever, if it's Microsoft, I don't know if they still do platinum hits, but back in the day on the original Xbox, they had platinum hits. So back in the day, Sony or Microsoft or whoever it was that was doing the re-release would request that something additional be added for a re-release. That's hilarious considering now they try to release games in what they call MVP, which is minimum viable product. That's the state that they release games in now. So isn't that lovely? Anyways, back then when they actually cared about value for money, they requested that Konami attempt in some way, shape, or form to include more content for Silent Hill 2 Greatest Hits Edition, the original Greatest Hits re-release on PS2, which happened in like 2003, very late 02, very early 03, something like that. And so what they did was they had the Born from a Wish scenario made and they pressed it onto the discs. So, and then I believe that was also included in Restless Dreams, which was the Xbox port. And most people already know. I love how 15 minutes in I'm already yapping about Silent Hill 2, but anyways, most people know this. But the Xbox port is actually pretty inferior to the PS2 version because they had to convert all the sound files to something called AVX, which I think was a proprietary Microsoft audio format that they were using at the time to develop games. And in the process of doing that, it just destroyed the audio quality for all the sound effects. So all the sound effects sound really compressed and they peak a lot and they're just not clear at all. They're very blurry, or not, they're very muddy sounding, you know, the audio equivalent of blurry. So yeah. And the cutscenes are even worse. Like the cutscenes got absolutely decimated because they had to not just convert all the audio, they had to convert the video, the pre-rendered cutscenes, to something called BINC, which again was a proprietary video format that Microsoft was using at the time. And BINC was dog shit in many ways, but again, completely bulldozed the quality. Funny enough, those BINC video files are actually on the PC disc. If you're a boomer like me and you have, well, I don't have one, but if you're a boomer like me that has a CD-ROM drive on your computer. Actually, I think Silent Hill 2 Director's Cut was on a DVD, but anyways, the point still stands. If you put the disc into a computer and you install the game from the disc, once you install it and you go into the installation, the root folder, those cutscenes are actually all in there. And that way the system can just access them and play them back at the right times. But again, because they were being converted from like MP2, I believe. They were playing on MPEG 2 format on the PS2. Because they had to be converted, they look like shit. So the Xbox version is not very popular because it's a mixed bag. Yes, you get higher render resolution. The game looks better, especially if you run it over a component. It doesn't have the flashlight bug where you can see like the polygons on the end of the light ray. It's actually smooth and rounded over, so the graphics are objectively better. But the pre-renders look terrible and the sound effects are bad. So that's why if you go to look up Silent Hill 2 on Xbox, those copies go for cheap because it's not a very sought after version. Yeah, like $60. That's all people are asking for original Silent Hill 2 on Xbox. They're asking about 60 to 80 bucks. So it's not very popular. And funny enough, you can actually get the Japanese version called Saigo no Uta, I believe. Unless I'm just completely off base. But yeah, a Japanese Xbox game is like the rarest occurrence in the world, dude, because Not only was Xbox not popular in Japan because it just couldn't compete with Sony. Look, Sony is the Apple of Japan. I've said that many times, but it's 100% true. They have the market but they have their market domination in way more product categories than Apple. Apple has tablets and phones on fucking lock. You are not touching the iPad or the iPhone. You can try. Some products have gotten close, like the Surface Pros or whatever. Wacom tablets are very good for drawing, for example. But in terms of just overall moving units and selling iPads and iPhones, you're not touching Apple. Yeah, good luck. Sony on the other, actually, headphones too. AirPods like dominate the wireless headphone market. They dominate the headphone market, period. So I guess we could also throw them dominating the headphone space into the mix. But with Sony, it is, and these are just like 5 or 6 that I can think of: headphones, portable gaming, console gaming, TVs, speaker systems, audio receivers. Let's see, what else do they make? Peripherals. You know, Sony makes all their controllers and third-party peripherals and stuff. Not third-party peripherals. Yeah, so I mean that's a huge amount of electronics. Like headphones, speakers, audio receivers, game consoles, portable consoles, because the PS Vita, to my understanding, is still popular in Japan. Like it's not like America at all. The PS Vita is still very popular over there. And I'm sure there's more, like Bluetooth speakers. I'm sure they dominate that market too. Sony has a pretty big wireless headphone market too, because their W1000 series is really popular. Even in America, it's popular. So when you try to release a product to compete with something like the PlayStation in Japan, you're fucked. It's not going to work. So original Xbox was probably the worst selling console of all time in Japan. And 360 didn't fare much better because it's an American company. That's like, why would you do that when you could just go support the Japanese company that's been around for, at the time, a good 5-6 years with the original PlayStation? Actually, I think, didn't the original PlayStation launch in like late 1994 in Japan? Japan launch. Hey, what's up, Dr. Red? Yeah, the original PlayStation came out on December 3rd, 1994 in Japan. A week before the Sega Saturn. So why would you then support Microsoft, who's coming in with a brand new console in 2001, and it has games like Halo on it, like that was the system seller? Japan at the time, and even like as recently as 5-6 years ago, they were mostly not even interested in dual analog stick games, and I'm not even making that up either. Like, Japan they love RPGs. How are you doing, by the way, Dr. Red? I'm yapping about games. What a shock. Japan fucking loves their RPGs. They love, and not even like the Final Fantasy. I'm talking like the super anime-ish, Metaphor, ReFantagio, Atlas. Hey, what's up, Future? Dude, I love that emote, by the way. It's very trippy. In a good way. That gold radio, dude. I fucking love the radio so much. I'm never changing those sub icons. But yeah, so if we take a look here, hopefully it's not going to leak anything. Okay, it did have my name. But if we take a look here, you can see this is actually shipping from Japan, interestingly enough. Okay, $42 for the Silent Hill 2 Restless Dreams. What is up with that disc art, by the way? That slime color. What the hell? But yeah, these are not popular. They've sold 9 of these at this price. Whereas, if you were to take a gander over at the PS2 copies, you're talking like $200 now. Yeah, the fucking Mountain Dew edition. Silent Hill's not popular in Japan. We as different regions are into very different games. But funny enough, Dr. Red, one of the most expensive original Xboxes is the limited edition Mountain Dew. Did you know that? the Mountain Dew Xbox that I think they gave away for like X Games or some shit. That's like one of the most rare and expensive original Xbox variants. Yeah, dead serious. I'll show you. Sorry, I gotta apply my Carmex real quick. I got a really good walk-in today, guys. I did 3 laps around my neighborhood, which is fairly large, and I got like 8,000 steps in, so I'm feeling really good. And in the sun too. God, it was just like so good. I swear the sun is like a battery to me, man. I just need to get out in the sunlight every now and then, and I'm good. You know, mood just skyrockets, and I'm fucking chilling. Okay. So, if it's on eBay, it's going to be thousands of dollars, but Mountain Dew Xbox is literally the first result when you search it up. Oh, $750. That's reasonable, actually. That's really reasonable. Check it out. Yeah. The Mountain Dew Xbox. Has the logo right in the middle. Doom 3. That's a fucking sick game right there. Look how simple things used to be, man. Look how simple. Literally just AV, Ethernet, power. It's even simpler than like an Xbox One. What is that? What is that? Oh, blue mod chip. Oh no. A modifier chip, dude. What the? Well, anyways. Yeah. So there's a mod chip installed in that one. That might be part of the reason why it's so expensive. But yeah, it's a absolutely very ugly system. There was a Halo 3 Xbox 360, but unfortunately it came out around the time that they were still red ringing really bad. Let me see. Okay, somebody has one. These came out at the time when they were still red ringing really, really bad. Like they were breaking left and right. And so it's not really a good thing to buy. Because you're risking, you know, having to open the fucking thing up and like try to reflow the board. But this is what it looked like. This is a PAL version, but this will work for demonstration purposes. Oh, this dude has a fucking 1,000,001 photos on here, damn. Yeah, so this was the Halo 3 one. This was one of the most expensive ones. Very cool looking system, but man, they were red ringing like crazy around the time that this came out, so it's really not a recommendation. And this was also one of the first runs of 360s that even had HDMI cables on them. Whoa, this was manufactured 2010? It says service date, though. I don't think that's accurate. Yeah, that's weird, man. I don't know. That may not be the original shell. Anyways. Well, no, that is a European version. Maybe that makes sense. Yeah, it could be a refurb. True. Anyways, so yeah, so my point in all this is there are a few different versions of Silent Hill 2, and the reason why the original Born from a Wish was even included was because Sony requested from Konami that they include something extra for the player so that they could re-release it.
This town is full of monsters.
What's up, Kendo?
How can you sit there and eat pizza?
By the way, shoutouts to Bridget for the cut again. I'm just gonna say it. I haven't said it yet this stream though, okay? Shoutouts to legitimate glasses with an anti-reflective coating too. That way you guys don't have to see the bullshit on my monitors all the time. Pizza, dude. The person who invented pizza, named Pete Za, by the way. Real guy. I've met him. Okay, anyways. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we will eventually get Born from a Wish on Silent Hill 2 Remake. I just don't know what that timeline looks like or how long it's going to take. That's my point in all this, my yap fest. Yes, Peter Zaw, very nice guy. A very humble man too, a very humble man, despite his notoriety. Okay, I apologize. Yeah. So, what are the chances of us actually getting Born from a Wish and Silent Hill 2 remake? Very high. I just don't know what that timeline looks like. It'll probably be out before the end of the year, I would guess. But I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to, genuinely, is the release of GTA 6. You may ask, wow, Stamp, you're a boomer. Why are you saying that you're not excited for one of the most hyped games of all time? Because I was 12 years ago. Good God, I don't want to think about this. I was like 16. No, I was 18 when GTA 5 came out, okay? I was 18. And when that game came out, I witnessed the biggest explosion of fake bullshit laugh, like just garbage content where people would just run around and fake laugh and fake wheeze and pretend to be having the most fun of their lives. And it just like took over all of YouTube. It took over all of Twitch. And it was a fucking cesspool, man. It really was. Welcome back, Dr. Red. It was a fucking cesspool, man. It was awful. So I would imagine GTA 6 is going to be even worse. There's going to be clickbait about, you know, Easter eggs and hidden things in the game that don't really exist. Be prepared for your YouTube and Twitch feeds to explode for at least the first 3 or 4 months, if not longer. And don't even get me fucking started on when the PC version comes out and they get an RP server going. When they get an RP server up on GTA 6, it is fucking over. It is fucking over for any of your favorite content creators that do anything else ever. That will be stopping, and they will be doing GTA 6 RP all fucking day, every day. That's not really anything I'm interested in, and if you are, I'm happy for you. That's awesome. You will get a mountain of content. You'll never run out. But for me, I will probably be checking out Twitch around that time, because I'm just not really interested in fucking the million and one, just GTA 5 RP people doing like the voice changers and stuff. And yeah, I just feel like it's very played out as content, you know, and I'm probably in the minority saying that, and that is 100% okay. GTA is so glazed. It's just another empty field game, arguably one of the worst ones too. Well, I think it's a genuinely fun game. The only problem is when the whole fucking world shifted from wanting to sit down and enjoy a game and be immersed in a game to every game needing to be a canvas with which to make your content. I think that's why it annoys me now. Because whereas before we would all just play it and laugh and enjoy it and talk about how good it was, now it's going to be like, oh, this isn't a very good game for content. Like, why do I have to mute my music? You know, that was a big controversy when GTA 5 came out. Is a lot of people on YouTube that were making playthroughs like fucking T Martin and those type of guys, you know, this of CSGO scamming fame. They would have to turn the music completely down. And as you know, the music is one of the best parts of GTA. You know, listening to the really fucking awesome music on the radio. So having to turn the music down to fucking nothing just ruins the game. Nobody wants to just run around listening to dialogue all day. With just like atmospheric sounds like wind and shit. Like what the hell is that? And pedestrians talking and NPCs and shit, you know? So I think it's just my general annoyance, and maybe it's because I'm 30 years old, I don't know. But it's just my general annoyance with like everything needing to be a canvas for people's content now, that I already know that I'm going to be sick of seeing the game everywhere within like a month of it coming out. Am I going to play it? I don't know, man. You guys know I'm not really into new games like that anymore. I don't want to be the fucking like Dark Side Phil type streamer that plays the newest, hot off the fucking presses, cutting edge releases. I don't want to be that guy. I've never been that person, and I never really want to be, unless it's very specific to the horror subgenre and something you guys know I'm excited about, like RE4 Remake and Silent Hill 2 Remake. Those are the only 2 times I would do that. Well, I don't mean in that sense, but I mean in the sense of, I don't mean in that sense, but I mean in the sense of always having this weird, like, hyper fixation with new releases. Everything in Phil's world and a lot of other people's world is about newest releases, new. This game is launching this week. I have to be there. Midnight release to play this. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck about that. You think I care about that when the vast majority of the games I play are 2004 or older? I don't care. And with that, I think we should get into the episode. How about it? Check this out, you guys. I reworked the logo. It's sharp. It renders sharper now. So it renders in full HD. For some reason before it was like rendering at 720p, so it looked kind of blurry. So now we're crystal clear, high definition. And I changed the text stuff around, so yeah. Also, speaking of, I want to move this to the right ever so slightly. There we go. I just don't want it to be right, like jammed up against the corner. What do you guys think? This or this? I like this one. The 0 is like a little bit too close to the edge. Anyways. Yeah, I like this one. Hi, YouTube. Yeah, I am going to leave the chat on, by the way. The whole taking the chat off thing, I'm leaving it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I went back to check the VOD, it was like, this VOD is too old, the chat is gone. I don't ever want to lose chat. So I was like, why the fuck was I hiding chat? Because now there's no archive of it, except what I was saying. So chat is going to be on screen. It's a little bit larger than my other camera. So yeah, chat's going to be on screen. It just is what it is. Chat a bit smaller. Yeah, we can do that. Like here, I have to put some test lines so that I can see how many lines of chat we're getting. How about that? A comfortable 5 lines of chat up there. Yeah. But I don't want to be on my best behavior. Hey, that's fair, man. Just be aware it will be on the VOD. You know what? If you're out of line, you will be hearing from Reddit. And that's not a threat. That's a goddamn promise. Okay. It's just I was getting into too much of a yap fest, and I realized like I was about to bleed into a topic that I wanted to talk about here. Okay. Okay. So we're going to stop the music. Season 2, Episode 1. Oh yeah, and let me also make sure that I delete out some of my old absolutely useless videos so I can make some space for my video here, because it will inevitably be pretty high quality. I would delete that portion. Dude, I have so many fucking useless videos of just me testing mic quality from way back in the day. Okay, what is our hard drive storage looking like? Oh, I've got 760 gigs on this 2 terabyte, so we're chilling, dude. Yeah, we are chilling. 760 is plenty to record this, so I'm not worried about that. But it is running at like 20,000 bit rate, so. Okay. Wow, it has been a long time, hasn't it? Well, about 7-8 months, judging by the last time I uploaded an episode. So this is me bringing back, by popular request, by the way, people have been asking me and I've really wanted to do it, Stamp of Approval. My weekly Wednesday night podcast, I'm going to be bringing it back, talking about really anything outside of politics, because that is a Royal Rumble fucking cesspool of a never-ending culture war thing that I don't want any part in. But when it comes to gaming, when it comes to Twitch, when it comes to lifestyle stuff, that I'm very happy to talk about. So welcome on into Season 2, Episode 1. So I actually did have a fair few things that I wanted to talk about. I was actually yapping a little bit before I started as well, and I noticed that one thing that I was going to talk about and has been on my mind for a while is I actually think that Twitch is moving away from gaming content as a whole. And I'm a big watcher, not so much player, of two communities, which is Dead by Daylight and Overwatch. And I've seen a lot of Dead by Daylight and Overwatch streamers where every time I tune into their streams now, they're just talking. They're just like me, sitting here yapping at a camera. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I've actually seen like, okay, listen, I have a policy. I don't bring up other streamers' names. I don't ever put other streamers' names in my mouth in a negative connotation, okay? So I'm not going to do that. But I have seen some, in particular, Dead by Daylight streamers that are pretty prominent members of the community kind of explode on their chat when they come into their chat and they ask them, hey, are you going to be, I'm just curious, you know, maybe you don't play it anymore, but would you be interested in a killer game here or a survivor game or something? And they just like explode and say things like, is that really the only value you think I bring to the platform is just playing a video game? It's like, well, considering that's what you built your brand on, I think that's a pretty reasonable question, hey? So, but I have noticed a big shift. It seems like games now, and I've noticed it too, just with my tiny stream, but I've seen it with a lot of other streamers too, is like when they're talking and they're just chatting, everything is great. You know, things are interactive and like you can actually interact with your chat like one-to-one. As soon as they say something, you can talk. But when there's a game, it's like there's a wall, especially if it's like a speedrunner or something where they have to seriously focus up and do certain things like tricks or skips or, you know, just difficult fights or whatever it is. There's always just this wall between you and the chat. And it seems like anything that interferes with interactivity just bulldozes content. Unless, there's one exception, unless you're like a Shroud, where you have no interest in being a just chatting streamer. You've made that clear. And you're just really good at games. Like, I don't want to say generational talent type thing, because even he would say he's not that good. But he has this thing where like he's really good at adjusting to new games and getting good at them fast. So a new shooter comes out and he's just like really good right away because he's good at doing that. And that's where his main skill comes in. And I promise, I mean, no offense to him, he's an incredibly successful streamer. But typically people don't tune into his stream to listen to him talk about things. They tune in to watch him play games and be really good at them. So if you fall into that niche of being really fucking good at a certain game or like, you know, top ranked at a certain game, then sure, games can still work for you. Or if you say started on Twitch in 2010 to 2012 and you've built your whole brand on playing one particular game, then yeah, you could probably still do that. But in terms of trying to grow a channel in 2025 with just games, you're going to have a tough time doing that. Take it from someone, and again, I'm old, so take it from someone who has been on Twitch since before Twitch existed. Yes, 100%. Good luck. I have been on Twitch. My account was established I believe February 13th, 2011. Yes. So this was 4 months before Twitch.tv even existed. And remember, it was originally Justin TV, and Twitch TV was a skin for the gaming directory on Justin TV. That's all it was originally. You could access the same stream on both websites if you wanted to. And so what they did was they tried to make Justin TV. They tried to keep it around for a few years, but it was pretty obvious that there was like a mass exodus of everybody going to Twitch because before they realized that gaming content had exploded in the live stream space. So they tried to keep Justin TV chugging along as like the IRL side, like two sides of the same coin. Twitch was the gaming side. The other side was Justin TV with like painting streams and IRL stuff, and just chatting was popular over there. The 4-Player Podcast was very popular. It was one of the first streams I ever watched on Justin TV, by the way. If you guys remember 4-Player Podcast, shout outs to them because they were fucking innovators, man. They like started this shit big time. Anyways, but it just wasn't getting the traction. So Justin TV kind of died out and they shut it down. I believe they shut Justin TV down around 2015, 16 or something, if I remember correctly. So it lasted a good few years, but it just couldn't compete. And so they decided to move all that over to Twitch. And in the beginning of Twitch, because it was so gaming focused, you were not allowed, literally, you were not allowed to not be playing a game. I know that sounds absurd, but it's absolutely true. Anybody that was on Twitch at the time, which would have been 2011 to, 2015 or so, if you turned the game off or you were just sitting there talking to the camera like I'm doing now, somehow, some way, a moderator would track your stream down and someone would post in your chat like, hey, do you plan on playing a game anytime soon? If not, we're going to shut the stream down. It seriously used to be like that. And you actually had to get special exceptions to do things like cooking. There was a guy named Lethal Frag. And Lethal Frag is famous because he was the first guy to ever complete the 2-year live streaming challenge. He quit his job and he said, I'm going to try to make it as a live streamer. This was 2012 that he did this. So from 2012 to I forget which exact date in 2014, he was live every single day for like 3 to 4 hours, sometimes even way longer. Yeah, it is fucking wild. And the other thing he was doing was he wasn't shaving his beard until the challenge was over, as just kind of another, thing to remember the whole challenge by. So he had some streams where he didn't want to play games, and he had some streams where he didn't want to sit at his computer. So he had to ask Twitch for a special exception to be able to do like cooking streams and other things like that. And I forget what he called it, but it was like, something with Lethal or Fridays with Frag or something like that, where he would do a cooking show. Because he actually used to be a professional chef. And the same thing would happen with Dan's Gaming. He would have to, as you guys know, the famous Dan's Game emote. Yeah, that's him. Same thing happened with Dan's Gaming, where he would have to ask Twitch for a special exception to do something that wasn't playing a game. So I come from the mentality of a time where playing games was the only way to grow because it was your only option. And it's actually been really difficult for me to grow out of that in a sense, because I always think if I'm just sitting here talking, I'm getting to a game. You know what I mean? It's like, well, eventually the game is going to have to start because that's got to be my content. But the reality is Twitch is not like that anymore at all. It's very much the opposite. There's some streamers who do nothing but chat and watch YouTube 10 to 12 hours a day. Is Asmongold literally the #1 streamer, as in an individual person on this platform now, or is that still Kai? Either way, pick whichever one. They both do that. Kai, for the most part, sits at his PC, whether he has a really high profile celebrity there or not, is incredibly, massively successful. And Asmongold sits at his PC, watches and reacts to YouTube virtually all day. And incredibly, massively successful. So, of course, they both do play games occasionally, but it's more of a rare occurrence than it is to see their typical streams of just sitting and watching stuff and talking. So I almost feel like the landscape, like in the next 5 years, I feel like the majority of people are going to stop playing games. And I don't think that means they're all going to go political. But I do think that means that a lot of them are going to do this type of content where they're just talking about stuff, chatting with, their chat about life and shit. And I think it's because that is maximum interactivity. Now, some people would say, oh, just chatting is like the laziest content you could possibly do. You're literally just sitting there talking. I'm not going to lie, there is some truth to that. But at the same time, it is a skill, and it's a learned skill. Sitting and talking, some people can't do it. I couldn't do it in the beginning. I literally would run out of things to say and I would just stare at my screen and not know how to keep the conversation going. So it's a learned skill and you have to be good at it. And you have to be able to engage with chat and talk to them about what's going on. So no, it's not something that everybody can do, but I think that you can learn how to do it eventually. But it is kind of funny that we've shifted away from sitting it, because I remember people used to criticize Twitch streamers that were doing really well and they would complain about like burnout and stuff. They're like, oh bro, literally all you do is sit and play video games. How could you be burned out? It's like the easiest job ever. Well, sure, but imagine you're a speedrunner or something and you know, the same concept applies to anything that turns into your job. One day you're just, you know what, you love to play games at the end of a tough work week. That's how you decompress, okay? All of a sudden you start streaming on Twitch, your stuff blows up, and now you're obligated to play games. It's not just, man, you know, I had a shit week, I had a tough week. I'm going to play some video games and just chill with my friends in Discord, you know what I mean? Now it's like, I have to turn the stream on because I have to pay my bills. So now it went from something you did for fun on your own time to something you're now obligated to do on someone else's time. Well, multiple people's time if you're talking about a whole chat as a unit, you know. Lazy or not, it's fun for the viewer and the streamer. Conversations and interaction is the most primitive, basic form of entertainment for humans that a lot of us don't get IRL anymore. Twitch or anywhere online can be a great place to socialize. Yeah, it's a really great point. I think that the pandemic really lit the fire on that. I think it's pretty obvious to me and everybody else that Twitch blew up. I mean, I think internet traffic went up a couple 1,000% or some fucking crazy number when everybody was stuck at home. You know, some people took some leave from their job because they were afraid of catching it. Some people were unfortunately laid off, whether temporarily or permanently. In some cases, really horrifically with no severance. So, you know, people kind of had to panic and go to unemployment to get their money. But you know, they were sitting at home and they wanted entertainment, so they went to Twitch. And a lot of large creators actually credit the pandemic with really kickstarting their streams, like Ludwig. Ludwig says all the time that the pandemic is what got him started big time. He says that all the time. And it's true. I mean, like his stream really blew up during the pandemic big time, and so did a lot of other people's as well. So, you know, it's kind of like what I was talking about. Yeah, you could criticize it and say that it's lazy, but, you know, playing games on stream is lazy if you're just playing a very slow-paced casual game. I don't see anything wrong with that. And, you know, at the same time, it's not really lazy because, again, it's a skill, and actually having a meaningful conversation, I think, is valuable. And some could even argue that it brings more value to the table than like a challenge run of a video game, you know? For as small as my stream is, I've talked to several people that are like regs in my community that say, you know, I motivate them to stream, or that they just really appreciated a conversation we had and it's got them thinking about stuff positively, or it kind of changed their mindset on things. I mean, as much as I love Silent Hill, and, you know, if it were up to me, I would create like an Outer Heavens style channel where all I do is play those games 24/7. I would be okay with that for probably years. I think that brings more value to the table when I see messages like that. And I know that, yeah, exactly. Like Future is a really great guy. I swear it's like we're brothers that just didn't happen to cross paths until a handful of years ago, but we have like the same interests, the same, you know, opinions on a lot of things without talking to each other. So, you know, meeting people, discussing things and having these conversations, I think brings more value to the table than, you know, a hard action, hard riddle playthrough of Silent Hill 2, as engaging and as fun as it can be. Especially when I get to expose people to the story for the first time. That's like the biggest honor for me. We had this guy named Wrong Panda who completely disregarded horror games. And he said all the time, like, you know, horror games to me, they just seem like running around with weapons and killing monsters. And he thought the same about Silent Hill 2. And I told him, I was like, nah, this one's pretty different. Hey, what's up, Wang? I was like, nah, this one's pretty different. You might want to check this one out. And when we finished it, he actually kind of changed his tune about them and was like, I want to try out more games like this. Now, as we all know, more games don't really exist like that. Nintendo's coming. Oh, for my logo? Nah, dude, I changed the hell out of it. They ain't coming for that. Look, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, dude. It is. And that's a fact. But my point in all this is those conversations are more valuable for me. And so I feel like, yeah, sitting here talking, it's fun and I fucking love it, but I kind of need both to find the right balance. I don't know, because for me, if it wasn't for streaming, I would basically be taking a break from video games right now. I would not have played Resident Evil 4 Remake, but I would have watched it. I would not have played Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I would have watched it. But because I was streaming and I genuinely love those games, I did want to play them. But genuinely, I probably wouldn't have. Nintendo tried suing a grocery store for being called Super Mario, which the store was made before Mario. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? Well, we have another icon. There. They can't say anything about this one, dude. Boom. We'll rotate them around every now and then, but anyways. Yeah, so I think that it's lazy. Sure, you could accept that criticism and say just chatting is lazy. But I enjoy having both. I think having the right balance. Sometimes you really feel like playing a game. I'll be honest. There's sometimes I boot up the stream and I'm like, I am dead set on playing this exact game, and it just is what it is. Like the Rule of Rose first playthrough, or when I came back after the last Halloween marathon and we did Haunting Ground. Sometimes I just straight up want to do that, and it took some swaying for me too, because again, I came up in the era of two things that are massively different nowadays. One, running ads was cringe, and asking for like bit goals, and well, bits didn't exist at the time, but even so much as mentioning, I like the other one better, just DSP your way to a lawyer. Oh no. Sometimes just chatting is group therapy for some. Yeah, and that's perfectly fine, as long as it's on topic, as you guys know. Yeah, anyways, we're not going to get into that. Long story. We don't have time for that here, so I apologize for not expanding on that one, but maybe I will someday. Anyways, yeah, I do think for me, coming up with Twitch in like my formative years, like when I was 18 to 22, I think that's usually when you're most heavily influenced in a space like this. Running ads was cringe. Incentivizing donations was cringe, and especially asking outright for like a donation goal. If you had a donation goal for like a new PC or something, even back when I first was on this platform in like 2011, that was considered cringy and everybody would call you an e-beggar for doing that. Nowadays, no, it's not frowned upon at all. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it's a noticeable difference from when I was, first engaging with live streamers and first learning about this whole thing. No, we were not talking about therapy. We're just talking about old Twitch and the way things used to be and different stuff like that. You know how it is. So, it took a lot of swaying for me to even be interested in just chatting. As you guys probably remember, it was like pulling teeth, You would ask me like, and for a long time I also got locked into the mentality of 1 hour of just chatting and then it must be a game. But I think it's really important. Oh, what's up, Quesadilla? But I also think it's really important to listen to your audience, and listening to my audience leads me to do more just chatting. I'm perfectly fine with that. So, because at the end of the day, if you're not listening to the audience, why the fuck are you live? Like, you just do it on your own time, Hop into a Discord with some of your IRL friends and play the game offline if you're not interested in listening to the chat, because No point. Group chat, sure. Trauma dumping, nope. Exactly. Go touch grass for 5 minutes. Whoa, dude. The fucking shot's being fired right now. Yeah. And, you know, that kind of is a thing that is consistent. That, you know, some things have changed. Like I said, the running ads is no longer at all considered cringe. In fact, some creators have actually really intelligently just made that a part of their content. They're like, okay, we have an ad break coming up. You know, if everybody wants to grab a drink for a second, I'm going to pause the game or whatever, you know, whatever it happens to be. They basically put their content on hold for a few minutes to run an ad. They tell people, hey, if you're not subscribed, you're about to get an ad, just letting you know. They have like alerts in their chat and everything to let everybody know. So that's really cool. However, back in the day, you would get called greedy for that. You know, they're like, oh my God, you're making donations and all this shit and you have subscribers and you're running ads. Oh my God, you're so fucking greedy, bro. That's the type of stuff people used to say. But listen, it's very important in this type of industry that you don't get set in your ways the way that I used to be. And you don't, right. Yeah, exactly. Like I've clicked the button one time and that just comes from, again, my upbringing on this platform, which was, it was cringe at the time. So I didn't want to be cringe, but I really should start doing that. And the reason why, to get into a whole other topic, the reason why you should run ads is because it eliminates pre-rolls. So there's two primary types of ads on Twitch, pre-rolls and mid-rolls. We all know this. Mid-rolls play during the stream. Pre-rolls play as soon as someone enters the stream. And we know, based on viewer retention rates and a lot of other things. Oh, what's up, Adipie? We know, based on viewer retention rates and a lot of other things, that if someone joins your stream and instantly gets an ad, they're more likely to just leave. And I understand. Nobody wants to watch a fucking Doritos ad. They want to watch the streamer. And it's especially obnoxious when it's like an unskippable 30-second ad. Like, fuck that. So, Twitch basically gives you the option that if you don't want people to experience pre-rolls, you have to manually click the button a certain amount of times per hour. And I believe it's like 2 minutes of ads, or it's like something like maybe 3 to 5 minutes of ads every hour. Yeah, and it's not just when you get one ad, it's when you look in the fucking corner and it's like ad 1 of 4. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, it's actually live right now, Adipie. We're recording it. It's just the format's changed a little bit. So, at the end of the day, ads, much like clickbait, are a necessary evil. A lot of people, as a Twitch viewer who sometimes try to find new people to watch, I can safely say that if I get into an ad when joining, 70% chance I'm going to leave immediately. Oh, yeah. Prize Picks, mine are all, yeah, it's like Prize Picks, fucking FanDuel, you know, whatever those webs, what's the other one? It's like the AI symbol. I forget what it's called, but there's one fucking website that lets you bet crypto on literally everything. You know, will this political person choose this person as their, will they be confirmed? Will this person do this? Like literally everything in the world is commoditized and turned into a fucking parlay. I can't remember the name of the website, but I'm sure you guys know. And then of course, FanDuel and Prize Picks for like the sports betting side of things and a bunch of bullshit like that. But here's the thing. Ads, much like clickbait, are a necessary evil. A lot of people on Twitch have shown their analytics screen, which shows their earnings. And it actually turns out that if you're a fairly large creator and you run ads the way that Twitch requests, it is a noticeable bump in your income. Like, it's totally worthwhile and you should do it. So have no shame in running ads if this is your job. Now, I'm in a position where it's not my job. I work full time. So this is more of a side thing for me, but that's why I would never shame somebody for running ads if it's their primary source of income. If they're like the primary income earner in their family, I'm not going to shame them for running ads. Fuck it. I can mute the tab for a couple minutes, dude. Run your ads. No problem. Twitch not having a simple Twitch premium option like YouTube premium is dumb. They kind of do add a pie. It's called Twitch Turbo. So it's a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $15, $16. But if you subscribe to Twitch Turbo, you get no ads anywhere ever. I'm subscribed to Twitch Turbo. You can see the icon. It's the battery icon. Now, the weird thing though, and it might be the reason why you hadn't seen it, or maybe you didn't know of it. Yeah, it's like $15 a month. The thing is, they don't advertise Twitch Turbo like at all. It's like something you have to hear about from word of mouth. Like they never talk about it. Hey, what's up, Myra? I'm doing great. We're recording season 2, episode 1 of the podcast. I'm feeling good. Always nice to see you around. But yeah, so Twitch Turbo, they don't advertise it. It's kind of weird. Now creators they do still make money when you're subscribed to Twitch Turbo, but it's in a weird like ad revenue sense. Like I forget how it works, but basically if you're subscribed to Twitch Turbo and they play an ad, you won't see it. Did I disable sound effects? I believe I did. But yeah, if you're subscribed to, you can test it by trying to redeem an ad. You see Twitch Turbo on the PC. It's new to see it on the mobile app. Yeah, like they didn't even have it on the mobile app. They never advertised it. Like it was really weird. So my guess would be they don't want to incentivize people to get Turbo. They would rather people subscribe to individual streamers because both parties make more money that way. And I understand that, but I'm sorry, I can't afford to subscribe to like 7 different streamers, and I watch a lot. I watch Twitch more than I watch YouTube or TV. And that's been the case since like 2014. You know, Twitch has been my primary source of entertainment for well over a decade, so. YouTube Premium's like $1 monthly for me, and I don't use Twitch near as much, so $15 is quite something, yeah. Funny enough, back in the day, I know I say this a lot, YouTube Premium was called YouTube Red, and YouTube Red had like original content. One of them was fucking Scare PewDiePie, wasn't it? But anyways, they had like YouTube Red originals and a few other things. I actually subscribed to YouTube Red the very first day they invited me to like a beta program for it, and this was like 2017. Oh, it still does. Okay. And back then I think it was $8.99. And so because I was that early in, when they changed it to YouTube Premium and they kept hiking the rates up, they actually let me keep the original rate. So I upgraded from my standard plan to a family plan, and I get it for like $10 less than most other people get it. But hey, I didn't make that decision. YouTube made that decision. So it was totally worth it for me. Vsauce had his own show. It's Minefield. Matt Pat looked so young. Yeah. Poppy has a movie on YouTube Red. That's crazy. Yeah. So YouTube Red was trying to be like this, I wouldn't say Netflix competitor, but they were trying to support their really popular creators by giving them original shows and stuff, which was a cool concept, but apparently they didn't do very well because people just, as at large, they just kind of rejected the idea of, you know, paying for content on YouTube. It just, for a platform that built itself up to be about free content, it really didn't sit well with people that now all of a sudden they have to pay before they can see certain things. You know what I mean? Like the disparity in those two business strategies just really didn't work out for them. And a lot of creators have called this out. Log into YouTube on a not signed in browser or a not signed in phone app and tell me what you see. You're going to see fucking Sniper Wolf. You're probably going to see Asmongold, and you're probably going to see Mr. Beast. And football trail. You're going to see like football game highlights, NFL highlights, NBA highlights, Disney movie trailers, rap music videos. Not saying any of these things are good or bad. I'm just saying like the trending tab is complete bullshit. It's all bought and paid for. And most of the things that they say are trending are not really trending. At the same time, a lot of things that should be trending never do. Certain creators, like for example, because we were just talking about him, PewDiePie, Every fucking video this dude uploads gets 1 million views in like 6 hours. If the trending tab was anywhere near honest, he would be all over the trending tab. But because of all the controversy and stuff that he was involved in like 10 fucking years ago, I guess YouTube doesn't want to put him on the trending tab or something. I don't know the truth there. I don't know the case, but he definitely doesn't seem to be in the best position. YouTube red crawled so Beast Games could fall off a cliff. Dude, I tried watching a little bit of that. It's the fucking Beast Games show is literally everything that I thought, again, just like the Streamer Awards, the Beast Games show is exactly what I thought people came to YouTube to get away from. That overproduced, fucking obnoxious sound effect, scripted, produced nonsense. Reality TV game show bullshit, you know what I mean? I thought we went to YouTube to try to get more authenticity, but it's like over time people realize that authenticity is not entertaining enough, and so they need to hype it up. Yeah, they gotta fucking spice it up, dude. I don't know for sure. I just remember being around for the controversy of like, he basically went on Fiverr. When Fiverr was like first becoming a newsworthy like website where you can go and pay people for things, and he found these two guys who would hold up a sign that said whatever you wanted them to say, and he had them say something really fucking stupid, and he should have known better, but he did it anyway. You can look that up, and I'm sure you guys probably already know about it, on top of the bridge incident that we all know about. This is fucking ancient history though. This is like 2017, for the love of God. I'm not going to hold a grudge. I don't care. But yeah, like fucking 8 years ago, he said the N-word with the hard R on the fucking bridge in PUBG. Yeah, he did it. Straight up, he said it because he was mad. And yeah, so he had a few things going on at that time. But the reality is he is still the single most successful individual, not like a team of people. He's like the single most successful individual YouTuber still. Yes. He was mired in a lot of controversy, but anyways, yeah. So, my other thing that I kind of wanted to mention with just chatting being lazy and stuff, what about React content? And this is another question, because a lot of people criticize like Hassan for turning a video on and just walking out of the room, or XQC for not paying the original creators that he's watching the video of. Do you think that massive, and when I say massive, I mean like top 1%ers on Twitch, I'm talking about Asmongold, XQC, Hassan, you know, any people of this size and this stature on this platform, do you think that they should pay, or at least, you know, send some money to the original creator anytime they react to their video on stream? Because one could argue that the original creator is not getting the revenue because Hassan is putting it on his stream and his like 50,000 viewers are seeing it through his stream instead. So it's almost like revenue siphoning in a way. And a lot of people see it that way too. He apologized as soon as he even said it. Yeah, he did. Like, it's clear that as soon as he said it, he was fucking scared. Like, he immediately was like, oh, like, I'm sorry, dude. You're my favorite reactor to the most horrific missing person / murder cases on every platform. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hassan Piker is a whole thing in itself. Yeah. Like, I know what you mean, Myra. You're 100, and you know, he did say those things, but well, let's not go in that direction for obvious reasons. I'm just talking about sheer size of audience. Okay. Like sheer influence, size of audience, these types of things. But yes, like if he watches a YouTube video that someone made and then he just like gets up and leaves, he's kind of siphoning revenue from the original creator. So it kind of is in his best interest to like have some, I'm sure he has a team. He's got to have a team of like editors and shit. Just like have one of your editors reach out to the original creator and be like, hey man, you know, we're just going to send you some of the revenue from like the React video that Hassan made. You know what I mean? Well, I don't really, Listen, Hassan is the nephew of Cenk Uygur, who is the creator of co-creator of the Young Turks, which is like a very, very popular and wealthy leftist, kind of like an independent media outlet, kind of similar to like Daily Wire in that sense. So some people say that he's a Nepo baby and stuff like that because he was kind of already successful before he was on Twitch. I'm not here to talk about that. But yeah, that was just a point I was going to bring up. But anyways, yeah. If someone like Asmongold, XQC, Hassan, any of these people, if they watch a video, do you guys think that it's in their best interest to share some money with the original creator? Or do you think it's, hey, the video's out there and whoever wants to watch it can watch it and they should be fine with that? Or do you think they should be paid a little bit? The problem is they just don't care. Oh yeah, I mean like, people criticized XQC for that heavily, and he like only started having his editors reach out to the creators to offer to revenue share after he was called out on it. So like he wasn't even considering the fact that, you know, there's kind of some revenue siphoning happening, because again, these guys have 20,000 plus concurrent viewers at any given time as they're watching these videos. That's 20,000 impressions, so to speak, that the original creator is losing out on. So it is, you know, it's a sizable difference in the click-through rates and the impressions and just the view rates and the algorithm boosting in general. Same thing as music royalties in a way. Yeah. Well, I mean, Asmongold does do the thing where like after he's done watching a video, he does encourage his viewers to like go watch the video and drop a like and comment on it and stuff. Yeah, I don't think anyone does unless they're called out on it. Well, yeah, it's money at the end of the day. We live in a very greedy society, don't we? I think it's a gray area. If you transform the content enough with commentary, editing, and input, then nah, but people like XQC put on a video, bring no effort and skill into it, and make bank. True. You know, true. If your clip's being watched by someone for their content, the OP definitely deserves a chunk of what they make. Yeah. I actually agree with you, Adapie. I think that, you know, if you're going to upload a video of you reacting to something and the majority of it is just you doing this, like if the majority of it is you just looking at the screen while the video plays and your chat just fucking scrolls by at 300 miles per hour, like that's not transformative content. Come on now. Or just being like, oh my God, fucking just keep eating chips. You know what I mean? Like that's not fucking transformative content. At the very least, yeah, just the chuckle as you're watching. It's like, oh, react harder, Mr. Streamer. But that's the thing. If it's not transformative or you're just sitting there fucking chilling, then you should probably like, you should shout out the original creator. You should link it in their chat, or you should link it in your chat, especially if it's really active. And you should revenue share with them if we're being 100% honest. A lot of people would say, well, I'm giving them exposure. And that's true. But, you know, I don't know. It is a bit of a gray area. Some people think one way and some people think the other. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Myra. Was it like the body painting thing you're talking about where they could get away with being topless? Oh, no. It was the thing where they would stand like this close to the camera, right? Yeah, they would stand that close to the camera while being topless and you couldn't see anything. And it was basically like an OnlyFans live stream at that point. But yeah, way back in the day, again, I keep saying that, but I've been around for a long time, okay? Way back in the day, like 2015, 2016, when the IRL category first came around, a lot of people would do body painting streams. And so that would allow them to paint themselves nude for the most part. They would just have like underwear on, obviously, but they would paint themselves nude, and they got away with it because it was considered like artistic expression. You know what I mean? But it was obviously a meta. It was obviously being abused, and it was dealt with. But you're also profiting off someone else's work with 1/10 of the effort or less. That's true. Yeah. And, you know, it's a big problem, and it is a big gray area. You know what's also a big gray area is streaming video games. You know, if these companies wanted to behave like Nintendo, they could do that any day. You know, Nintendo doesn't approve of anyone uploading videos of their games, you have to revenue share with Nintendo if you want to do that on YouTube. It's 100% true. You can't do that. So if Microsoft and Bethesda and Activision, Sony, all these companies, if they were so inclined, they could very easily tomorrow just be like, you can no longer stream our games unless you revenue share with us. And what are you going to do? Say no? Well, good luck. You'll be hit with a cease and desist and a lawsuit. And you know what I mean? Like any day they choose, they could decide to do that and just turn the whole industry on its head. Now they don't do that because A, it would be incredibly unpopular and would pretty much like invoke an internet protest, the likes of which we've never seen since like SOPA was around. If you guys remember SOPA. Or, there's places for that shouldn't be allowed on a platform like Twitch. Yeah, we all remember the hot tub meta of like 2021 or whatever. That was another loophole. Probably another big like internet protest I remember was Microsoft in 2013 with the original Xbox One, where it always had to be online. It had like the super like Big Brother spy Connect features, which it turns out later on Microsoft was in fact hiring third-party people to pour through the recorded audio and video from the Connect. Did you guys know that? It turned out years later that Microsoft was actually hiring people to pour through all of that shit. So all the accusations about spying and everything else, they weren't too far off from the truth. That's the reality. And that's why I play games from 20 years ago. Dude, I'm telling you, fucking tomorrow, Bethesda and Activision and Sony and Microsoft Game Studios, 343 Industries, any company that so chose could come out and say, you can no longer stream our games unless you either revenue share with us, or they could just straight up say you can't stream them at all. And we would have no leverage to the contrary. Because at the end of the day, it's their property and we are sharing it. But again, that's a gray area because they know, think of yourself if you're a multiplayer game, how the fuck are you going to survive without Twitch? If you're a multiplayer game in the year 2025, you can't survive without Twitch. Or at least YouTube. You need both. That's the reason why Overwatch got so popular, because it was Blizzard. There was a big Twitch community of everybody playing the game and enjoying it. Dead by Daylight is still popular on Twitch for that reason. You can't just get away with not having Twitch or YouTube. Like, your game would die instantly. Nobody just wants to play your game like in silence in their own personal Discords. Everybody wants to stream everything now. And look at what Atlas does. You know, I wanted to play Persona 5 on stream, but you know what the problem is? I can't fucking do that. I'm dead serious too. Because Atlas released some broadcast restrictions for Persona 5. Now, I don't know if these restrictions are still in place. They may very well be. Well, two reasons. One, because I was doing a playthrough with Bridget off stream, so it wouldn't make sense to restart. And two, because of these restrictions. So if you look up Persona 5 streaming restrictions Atlas, you will find that because they want to avoid spoilers, you are only allowed to play to a certain day in the game. And the way the Persona games work is you basically play through every day throughout a whole year. You know, you go to school, after school, you can decide what you want to do in the city or the town. You can hang out with certain friends, you can do certain things. And then you like explore the dungeon, and then after you go to bed, it's the next day. And then certain story events may trigger, they may not. But for Persona 5, they said, you can live stream the game if you want to, but you can only play until this particular day. Because if you play any further, you're going to be revealing major story events. And we don't want anybody spoiling the game. So I guess fuck you to people that like to do full-on playthroughs. You're not allowed to do that. Now, some people just disregarded that and did it anyway, which is not advisable because that is how you get hit with like a copyright strike and a cease and a desist. Or a cease and desist. It's not like two different things. Most of the YouTube stuff I watch is people living their lives, cooking stuff. Some video game trailers, damn shame how negativity is the new meta everywhere. Yes. It's always a thumbnail of like the person in like the worst possible photo they've ever had taken of themselves. And it's just like, this person is a disgusting liar. this person is an unironic clown. The end is near. It is over for this creator. Yeah, that's the fucking algorithm right now. And we have people like Sunny V2 to thank for that, because Sunny V2 started what's called the downfall video essays. Literally, insert creator name, the downfall of creator, the downfall of, the satisfying downfall of, the hilarious downfall, the deserved downfall of. Just insert any adjective and then say downfall of whatever creator. That's the stuff that Sunny V2 started. Now everybody's copying him. Perfect example, recent one from just a couple months ago, is the Hawk to a Girl bullshit. Now every fucking YouTube video, when you go there, the downfall of Hawk to a Girl, the satisfying downfall, the Hawk to a Girl crypto scam is in shambles. The downfall of her career. You know what I mean? And I think what it comes down to is, like, yeah, someone's life is ruined. Hooray. Now watch my dramatized video and don't skip the manscaped ad. I've read It's Over in red beside some rando IRL streamer in a thumbnail for months now. Yeah. Yes, the situation. That's the moist critical. There's two sides of this coin. One is the Sunny V2, which is the downfall of, and then the other is Penguin Zero or Moist Critical Charlie. The blank situation is crazy. Yeah. That's every fucking one now. And what it is you see these meme personalities like this Hawk to a Girl. She literally just said something stupid and funny as she was like drunk walking out of a club one night. And it blew up and everybody memed it into oblivion, and it became a whole career for her. Well, what did you guys see in the comments of virtually everything that she was trying to do in terms of the podcast and everything? Is a bunch of people being like, oh my God, we're cooked as a society and this, that, and the other. Which I don't really have an opinion on her because I don't know about any of her stuff outside of the crypto thing. I genuinely don't know. I just know the original clip that she did a podcast that was like really successful while it was active. And everybody in the comments was just nonstop. This bitch is dumb and all this other shit. It's like, she does not deserve a podcast. She does not deserve her career. So, of course, what do these people do when she gets herself into this fucking crypto situation? Well, there's their perfect opportunity to dogpile. And they loved it. Oh, they ate it up. They watched all the videos about it. They were fucking furiously liking that button. They were just getting everything they always wanted. And I think that's what it comes down to with these downfall of and this person's situation is crazy, is people just enjoy reveling in the downfall of creators they don't like. Pyrocynical, another guy making 3-hour videos on this crap. Yeah, he made like a fucking hour-long video about pirate software. Oh my God. That's all I need to know. Yeah, he made like an hour-long video about pirate software situation, and it's like, I swear, it's so flavor of the month with these types of videos. Like, I get why they do them. Because again, like clickbait, it's a necessary evil. That is their content, and you got to keep the gears turning. You got to keep the content engine running. But it's like, man, I get so fucking tired of seeing that downfall title. I know nothing about the hot girl, but you can't expect a drunk girl who made a joke to be a professional entertainer. Like, yeah, if you blew up over a joke, you would try to make money from it too. Fucking anybody would. Anybody. If I walk out of a club and I said something stupid and it turned into a big meme, and I had people approaching me, offering me large amounts of money to do certain projects like a podcast, who the fuck would say no? Nobody. Not a single person. If someone approached you and said, we have $200,000 for you, we're going to build you a set, we're going to produce your podcast, here's the contract, we're going to get you on, you're going to be an employee, you can have your friend on too, her friend that was in the video. The original meme video is also like her co-host on the podcast or whatever. The tragic downfall of Stampede G. I don't think people realize how much modern YouTube looks like the gossip magazine rack at the register counter of a grocery store from the 90s. That's so fucking true. That's honestly, Future, that's such a great observation. YouTube is literally just turning into TMZ now. That's what it is. It's content creator TMZ. 100%. It's content creator National Enquirer, you know? And it's all the same type of shit that they used to put on their covers, like the paparazzi taking like a sneaky photo of fucking Jennifer Lopez, like she's walking out of a restaurant with a full stomach and they're like, baby bump? Uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like stupid fucking tabloid bullshit like that. That's exactly what YouTube is turning into. Is Keemstar to blame for that? Maybe, because he did kind of start this trend with Drama Alert. People would talk about drama, but nobody had made a channel that was literally just leaning into the TMZ angle as hard as Keemstar did. Keemstar made his entire fucking channel. And by the way, he actually found a loophole with YouTube to even be able to be on that channel. If you guys don't know, I'm not going to get into a big long story. Keemstar, Daniel Keem, he's been on YouTube forever, originally started trolling people in Halo. That was his original shtick. And he was in a group, I swear this is the real name, he was in a group called FAG, the Federation of Asshole Gamers. It's a real thing. And because of the shit that he said and did with that group, he was actually IP banned off of YouTube. IP banned. He was not allowed to access the website from his location. He would have to VPN to another location to even access YouTube, much less make an account. So how is he still so prevalent on YouTube, you might ask? Well, what he did was he had a friend, or like a business partner, I guess you would say, create the Drama Alert channel. The friend has all the Google AdSense stuff for the channel, so none of it is owned by him, and he's just an employee. He's just the host. So he has no YouTube account. He doesn't own the Drama Alert account. He was just the host. So that's why he was allowed to be hosting that, even though he was IP banned off YouTube. Dude, like the Pro Jared situation, the poor guy had his career ruined from a basic false accusation. All the YouTubers not having proper proof or anything jump on it in 0.2 picoseconds. When Jared proved his innocence, no one cared. All those YouTubers didn't try to fix the false expose they pushed on Jared. No one did the research about proving his innocence, just moved on to the next downfall. Didn't even know until years later that Jared was innocent. Oh yeah, of course, because this is what happens now. An allegation comes out before any explanation, before anything can be cleared up, before anything can be explained. Everybody is just dogpiling, and it's, oh, we no longer feel comfortable affiliating with this person. We have made the decision to terminate their employment, and everybody just hoots and hollers and fuck yeah, fuck that piece of fucking shit. You know what I mean? So everybody terminates them. They all blacklist the person, and then, you know, if you're the person in that situation, the only option you have is to lawyer up and get your fucking evidence. If you're innocent, you will lawyer up, get everything you can, show everything you can, but that takes time. So it's like a lose-lose situation, because while you're collecting that evidence, you're obviously not saying anything. And there's a lot of people out there who say, well, if you're innocent, why don't you just come out and say that? But if you don't say anything and you just quietly collect evidence, some people take that as an admission of guilt. So he had the double fuck situation where he was fucked from the other people blacklisting him. People saw that as proof that he was guilty, and people believed the allegations. And he was also fucked because before he could even make his video explaining his side of the story, the court of public opinion, so to speak, had already determined what he did. And they just assumed that because he didn't say anything, you know, he's guilty. So he comes back. I mean, he lost like, what, 100,000 fucking subscribers because of that bullshit. Yami Mash, I don't know who that is, but had his career ruined. But Cyrax and Christina Chin still have viewers. Yeah. Lolcows are a totally different situation. A crazy situation, you might even say. Okay, I'm sorry. No more sound effects during the podcast. Sorry, guys. I got some stuck in my throat. But that actually does bring up a good point, the lolcow comparison. Lol cows are an interesting, like, shift in that dynamic because they are the number one source of their own downfall, and because their downfall is so entertaining, people want it to go on forever. And so because it's so interesting and funny to watch them melt down and say stupid things and make bad decisions, people inadvertently end up signal boosting them enough that they are able to sustain and survive on the platforms that they do. Perfect example. Wings of Redemption. Now, this is not a conversation anymore because he's actually doing really, really well on the LolCow Live podcast. Like, he has a savings and everything. Like, he's doing really well financially now, which is good. I'm happy because he was struggling for a while. But because it was so funny, and yeah, like you said, Dr. Ed, because it was so funny and it was so drama filled, and he just handled trolling horribly. He just never understood the golden rule of not feeding the trolls. He would just always respond about everything. People basically didn't want their show to end, and so they would support him. And it got to a point where a lot of his troll channels started to revenue share with him because, you know, they didn't want him to go away because his content was their content now. And if Jordy or Wings of Redemption stopped streaming tomorrow, a lot of his troll channels wouldn't have anything to talk about. So it's like they do kind of need each other at the end of the day. LolCows are just those my 600-pound life journey shows with the arrogant contestants, TBH. There's people that get more views off reposting the cows' content than the cows. Yes, 100%. But especially if they do it unedited, DSP and Wings and other people are actually within their rights to copy strike those people. And so they usually come to an agreement where it's like, hey, you need to kick some revenue my way or I'm going to shut your stream down or shut your channel down, you know, on YouTube or whatever. Yes, it is my 600-pound life. That's the show on TLC. So, but I've talked about this before. You want to know the number one way to turn into a LolCow, especially on Twitch, is take yourself too seriously. If someone comes in the chat and trolls you, if you get really upset about it, you are on the fast track to becoming a LolCow. So you need to avoid that at all costs. RT USA is struggling hard right now over that. It's a shame too. He's a talented guy with a loyal, super, super loyal following. He could turn everything around in a few weeks if he tried, but I doubt he ever will. Yeah. Pride, arrogance, stubbornness, and taking yourself far too seriously on the internet are like the 4 recipes for an instant LolCow status. You need to be willing to laugh at yourself. You need to be willing to take criticism on the chin, so to speak, listen to criticism and make meaningful change. If you fuck up, simply apologize, make meaningful change and move on. Don't harp on it or try to argue or, like, you know, when you're clearly in the wrong, like, just stop. And number one, overarching just throughout all this, don't feed the trolls. If someone comes in my chat, and it happens every now and then, people come in here and just insult me randomly, I just either ignore it or almost, 9 times out of 10, I just ignore it, or I just ask like a stupid question back. But, you know, that's not so much feeding the trolls. That's just like, you know, they're not even entertained by that. They're just bored and they usually just leave. So ignoring is obviously the best strategy. His downfall's legit sad, being one of those fans. Yeah. I feel bad for David Jaffe leaning into that content. Been watching him for years. He provided interesting discussions. But since he joined the LolCow stuff, I genuinely can't bring myself to take the guy seriously. Yeah, isn't he the guy that's like on Twitter right now? Doesn't he just talk like all the time about how the games that are doing badly are actually really good and he's just trying to like own the chuds or whatever? Like he has really just become like a really embarrassing a really embarrassing creator. I'm not gonna lie. And I say that as somebody with you know, very low numbers even in comparison to him, but even I'm embarrassed of his content. I'm sorry, but I am. And this is the guy who created God of War and Twisted Metal, 2 of my favorite games of all time. Actually, yeah, he worked on Twisted Metal. So it hurts me to say that, but yeah, he's kind of a joke right now, as far as what I know. Unless I've been told wrong, I don't know. But he's just one of those guys that like gets into back and forth completely useless Twitter arguments all day with people that obviously have no interest in a real conversation, and like puts himself in that position time and time again. Well, Dr. Red, the reason why he did that, the reason why Review Tech USA deleted his channel, he has said a few reasons, but I think we all know the real reason why is because he didn't want to see it go under 1 million subs, because he didn't want to give the trolls that win. So basically, he got involved way too heavily with Darkside Phil's trolls. And he was like challenging them, which was a big mistake. And when his June the King documentary came out, you know, a lot of people started unsubscribing from him, and his channel went from like 1.15 million subscribers to 1.00. It was like 1.003. Like he had 1,300,000 subscribers, and it was going down, like it was trending downward, and he deleted the channel like right before that happened. I'd recommend just popping into a stream once. He'd be a fantastic call-in, to be honest, which he does, and could actually provide good content, but only if you want to. Are you talking about David or Review Tech? I would love to talk to Review Tech USA. A matter of fact, I'd be totally down to talk to Rich. I think that'd be really cool, because I used to watch his channel all the time too. But yeah. Jaffe, yeah. I wouldn't mind. I'd be down to talk to him. I don't think it'd be a very productive conversation, but I'd be down to talk to him. As long as he doesn't start calling me an incel or a chud, we're good. And even if he did, that would just be funny to me. So, but yeah, that is the most common theory. I'm not going to say it's a real thing, but like, why would you delete a channel that's just generating you hundreds of dollars in revenue for free? Rich will probably outright just say, 4K, you have me for 1 hour. No, he's not that kind of guy. No, I don't think I would want him to be on this show. I would go on his for free. Yeah, I would just go on his show and talk to him. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have a Rich on this show, because I know he doesn't typically do that, which is fair, because it's got to be worth his time. You know, he is a much larger creator. But yeah, why would you even delete a channel at all? Hey, what's up, Benjamin? Welcome on back in, sir. We're actually recording a podcast episode right now, so you're a part of it. You know, to your point, Dr. Red, you said Twitter is a hellhole. It's funny you mentioned that, because this was actually one of the like pre-set topics I wanted to talk about. Twitter, I'm sorry, I refuse to call it X. I don't have like a deep-rooted hatred for Elon or anything. I just think X is a really bad name for it, and I grew up calling it Twitter. So I'm gonna call it Twitter. I don't even know much about Elon, but anyways, it's a terrible place to go viral right now for a lot of reasons. But if you go viral on Twitter, your prize, so to speak, oh God, I did see that clip. That was really bad. Your prize, so to speak, is harassment and DMs of death threats and doxing and everything in between. Because no matter what you said or how neutral it was, there's going to be somebody out there that is outraged by it for one reason or another. They're going to extract meaning that wasn't even in there. They're going to assume you said something completely unrelated to what you actually said, and a million other bullshit interpretations of what you said in between. So back in the day, I'm sorry, I catch myself saying that way too often. When you had like a tweet that would really blow up, people would naturally click on your profile. They might potentially check out your links and see like if you talk about this type of stuff live or whatever else. Now, when it happens, people just use that as an opportunity to like target you, or they'll start like going through your profile and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling till they find like one tweet that they can use to like insult you with or get you on something. And that's just what they do now. So, you know, posting on there, you're playing with fire. It's not really a way to grow anything. And the other thing is it's monetized now. So rage baiting and being what they call a professional reply guy, you can make money doing that. So literally going on Twitter and posting stupid shit that you know is wrong just to get engagement is what a lot of people do intentionally to pay the bills. And I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. So I don't really want to be involved in a platform where that's what you do, because being somebody that's like a rage baiter, that's just like dumping an entire jerry can of gas on the fire. That is the people trying to leak your address and you know, figure out where you work and get you fired and SWAT you, and all that shit. So Blue Sky, yeah, I know Blue Sky is an alternative, but like I've checked out Blue Sky a couple times. It's missing a lot of key features, and there's also, it's like a ghost town. There's just like not a lot of people there. Like you see a company like Twitch make a post on Twitter, if they're even still on Twitter, I don't know. But you see them make a post on Blue Sky and it's like 200 people see it. And like, it's just like a ghost town. Like, I know that companies need competition and competition is really good for the industry, but I just think Blue Sky has a long way to go. Which is fair. They just started out a couple years ago. What's up, Shadow Man? Yeah, man, you're immortalized in the podcast video now. You're up in the chat. Stamp of approval returns, and he talks about his secret Twitter account that only followed. Dude, that was a secret, dude. Yeah, right. That dream guy or whatever recently came under some fire by posting a meme. Yes, a meme on Twitter that involved the R word. I don't know if you saw the tweet recently regarding some Japanese dude openly posting a manga getting 100k likes and then quoted by a Japanese woman talking about how fucked the culture is. She got 500k likes and her post was then restricted, plus she got a shit ton of death threats. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Adipie. Like, she was posting it to put it down, and people thought because she was like signal boosting it that they needed to give her death threats. My Cavs are dominating the NBA. They are, dude. I follow the Cavs on Facebook from way back in the day when LeBron first came back. And dude, it's like every single day I see them posting that they got to win. What are they, like 45-10 or something right now? It's insane. But yeah, it's a terrible place to go viral. But what I would recommend, as long as it doesn't fucking get banned and sometime in the next couple months, is TikTok. Dude, post everything in your power on TikTok. Don't be, don't be one of those people that's like, oh, that's an app for like the broccoli haired Zoomers to do their little dances and shit. No. Post every fucking thing you can on Twitter. Or what the fuck? On TikTok, not Twitter. Okay, I'll edit that out later. Don't worry about that. Projected to win 70 games. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, post everything on TikTok because there's so many eyes on that platform. He's going to say Freudian slip. There's so many eyes on that platform that you never know. How many people's careers as a content creator, how many people's careers were started off the back of one clip that blew up? A lot. Okay. So it's always worth it because you never know. I'm not a Red Note user. Fuck is Red Note? Oh, was Red Note that app that everybody was like switching to whenever TikTok was banned for like a day? And then they found out it was like even more restrictive than TikTok ever was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember when TikTok was banned for like a day and you would open the app and it would basically just say, the United States government, we're currently working to restore functionality and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I remember that. No, I'm not an anybody shill, to be honest with you. But the other one is YouTube Shorts. Everybody needs to be involved in the YouTube Shorts game. I have a friend of mine who just started posting Dead by Daylight content on YouTube Shorts, and he has shorts that have gotten thousands of views. Thousands of views. And there's like a lot of people commenting on them too. Brand new fucking channel, no algorithm pull whatsoever. And his videos are getting shown. So like YouTube Shorts and TikTok, that's the money right there. That's how you get your engine going, so to speak. That's how you get the momentum built. Give me just a sec, guys. I'm gonna blow my nose really quick. I unfortunately can't play music since we're recording, but give me just a second. Shorts pay like shit, but they massively boost virality. That's very true. Very, very true. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, they don't pay very much because they don't have retention. So YouTube very much right now, they kind of shift their strategy every few years. Sometimes they'll focus on engagement. Like a few years back, everybody remembers when every fucking creator would just beg for likes. Like it was, you know, the only thing keeping them alive. It's like, please smash that like button, fucking demolish that shit. You know what I mean? Fucking every creator was like begging for likes. And then they changed it to retention. So they wanted you to keep people watching for longer. And that's why whenever you watch YouTube shorts, it's always, you won't believe the last one, because they got to keep you watching until the last one, you know? That's also why Mr. Beast in his full-length videos always is like, you know, wait for the secret whatever at the end or something like that. You know, there always has to be some bullshit reason to get you to watch the video all the way through to the end, because YouTube is really prioritizing retention right now. Yes, likes and watch time are the two, and they seem to flip between those two pretty frequently, and you can tell. So just pay attention to what your favorite large YouTuber is doing. If they're asking for likes, YouTube is probably prioritizing likes. If they're asking you to stick around till the end of the video, they're probably focusing on watch time. So it all just depends on what the algorithm wants, what YouTube is prioritizing, and what they're looking for. Now that said, YouTube Shorts are still an excellent way to grow your channel. So what you can do, look, I'm just going to say it. There's a ton of apps that will edit YouTube Shorts for you fast as fuck. They let you caption the video really easily. They let you edit things together and stitch clips together super easily. They let you put music in really easily. Now, some of them are AI based, and I'm kind of iffy about how I feel about that, but you know, you can edit YouTube Shorts so fucking easy. Shout outs to OBS and Twitch, because Twitch actually has a new feature on their clip exporter where you can automatically export it in vertical. That way it can be played on mobile super easy. That's a really great feature. So if I were so inclined, I could go to my clips and I could export the ones that I think are really funny. I could throw them on TikTok in 2 seconds because my TikTok is connected to my Twitch. And that's also good for like Instagram and any platform that has like the vertical phone video. So YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Twitch, you can do that, or Instagram, you can do that with. So it's good for all three, realistically. But like I said, I almost feel like these days, anytime I see a clip that quote unquote goes viral, it's always some person talking into a mic on a podcast with like that fucking Sweet Dreams, a slow acoustic, dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? That fucking slow acoustic Sweet Dreams remix is playing in the back while they're talking about, I don't know, fitness or fucking dieting, or why most people just don't do enough and why most people just let their life pass them by. You know what I mean? Like, that's the shit that seems to consistently go viral that I keep seeing. And I feel like gaming stuff, again, going back to the very beginning of the conversation, I feel like gaming stuff has like died in that sense. When's the last time you saw like a viral gaming clip? For me, it's been a long time, and that might just be my algorithm. I don't know. But I haven't seen like a viral gaming clip, unless it's like Kai Cenat or iShowSpeed, in a very, very long time. So the other thing to keep in mind is big events. They don't work. Ludwig had a company called Off Brand, I think it was. And basically what they were doing was they were organizing large events, like speedrunning events. They were organizing large, like, streamer events, like the Streamer Awards and stuff like that. And a few other things. But the problem is, here's the problem. Running a huge event like that, the numbers just aren't there. Kai Cenat gets more viewers than these big ass events by just sitting and bullshitting in front of his computer with Kyrie Irving, or sitting in front of his computer and bullshitting with Kevin Hart or Nicki Minaj, or, you know, any other, you know, prominent like celebrities or big figures like that. And with a major event like the things that Ludwig was trying to run, he actually had to shut his company down because they couldn't afford the production costs anymore. And the reason is you have to pay for a crew, you have to pay for catering, you have to pay for the venue, you have to rent out the venue for a certain amount of time, you got to pay for production staff, and you have to pay for a lot of different things. Like there's an incredibly high production cost included, and a lot of these big events barely even broke even. So it's like, what's the point when you could make the same amount of money with zero production costs sitting in your room bullshitting around, you know, just talking to chat, joking, making funny clips. So these like large streamer events that we keep seeing, I don't think we're going to be seeing these for very much longer. Chat, are we cooked? Chat, donate now. Chat, is this real? Skibbity, is that sus? The new Killing Floor 3 is such a flop. Killing Floor 1 is way better and has such a good rock metal OST. Wasn't Killing Floor like a Source engine game? Kind of like The Hidden or whatever? I remember Killing Floor was really popular back in the day. So yeah, I think what Twitch is going to look like in 5 years, heck, even 2 years, is going to be very, very different. We're already seeing people are kind of over the video game thing. There are some streamers that have maintained a very successful career with a heavy focus on video games. People like Maximilian Dude, people like Caleb Hart 42, people like Dan's Gaming. So there are a lot of creators that have maintained very successful careers with a focus on video games. Speedrunners are still doing really well for themselves. But I think when we're talking about top 30 streamers, most of them are strictly just chatting streamers now. Like XQC does still play video games, but it's way more rare than him just sitting and talking about drama or talking about political stuff or what have you. You're here to watch me rage in SF4 and I'm not delivering. Yeah. See, I was talking about this at the beginning. I've seen a lot of Dead by Daylight and Overwatch streamers that have just completely they're just done. They don't want to play. They don't want to play anymore. They hate the game. It makes them depressed. They're sick of it. And what it comes down to is they don't want to play the game as their job anymore. And I totally understand that. But then comes this dynamic where they have built up their brand as being an Overwatch streamer. And a lot of them used to have OW in their name. Remember when everybody did that? And Dead by Daylight streamers, that's like all they used to do, 8 hours a day. But at a certain point, you're fucking sick of the game and you don't want that to be your only content anymore. So they're doing a lot of just chatting stuff and they're doing okay. But then, you know, you get the odd chatter that comes in and is like, oh, well, you know, do you plan on playing the game anytime soon or what? And I've seen it. They just blow up on these people. They're like, you think that's the only value I bring to this platform is just playing fucking killer or playing, you know, whatever. So it does seem like a lot of people are trying to make the shift to just chatting, like being their main thing. And they kind of just play games very occasionally. And like I said, just chatting is maximum engagement. So I do understand it in that sense. You literally can't have more of an engaging Twitch stream than just sitting and talking to your chat. Avowed is such a flop too. There's a comparison. Yeah, I've heard that like Oblivion had more advanced like realistic mechanics, which is really, really bad considering Oblivion is 19 years old now. And holy shit, that makes me feel old. But yeah. So I think things are going to be changing a lot. And I mean, Kick, you know, obviously Kick is like gambling central. Fucking everybody gambles over there. There's a lot of IRL streamers now that are doing like the Ice Poseidon thing where they just go different places and live stream everything that they do. I hate that type of content personally, but you know, it does well. So I'm not gonna hate on it. And then, you know, we have VTubers as like a whole new category of creators. VTubers are a thing now. I think TikTok lives, yeah, TikTok lives are huge. IG lives are huge. Like rappers do a bunch of IG lives. Oh God, not Rumble. No, but what I do recommend, I don't recommend dual streaming Twitch and Kick. I recommend dual streaming Twitch and YouTube, and that's something that I need to do. I have a third monitor. It has like some fucked up dead pixels on it, but I just need to buy a 3-monitor mount, put another one like right over here, and use that to monitor my YouTube stats. Like just look at YouTube chat, and if it exists, you know, that type of thing. Everybody should do that, because why not, you know? If I'm playing, but what a lot of people do, they're kind of smart about it. Like I was talking about Caleb Hart 42. He's been a partner on Twitch since like 2012, and he was one of the OG speedrunner Twitch streamers. He still speedruns primarily Final Fantasy VII. So when he streams specifically the game that he's like most well known for, he will dual stream it to YouTube. But if he's playing anything else that he doesn't think will get as much, you know, that people will be willing to click on YouTube, he just doesn't bother with it. So I think what I'll do is I will dual stream to YouTube, but only if I'm playing Silent Hill, since that's like the main crux of my content still. Saw some guy got pulled over during a TikTok live and then ran from the cop, ran back to the car, then ended the live. It was some dumb kid too, whole life ahead of him being an idiot. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a problem for a while too. Wasn't there that one TikToker that was just walking into people's houses? Completely just walking into people's houses just because it was content. Like, that is a horrible idea. Like, you walk into the wrong person's house, they will grab a gun and you're finished. Like, terrible idea. But it gets the people talking and it's controversial, so of course people are going to do it, because that's just the society we live in. I said this the other day and it's so true, the new currency is not crypto. It's not fucking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge. It is clout. Clout is the most important currency to some people. Just a crumb of it is all they want, and they will do anything to get it. It wasn't America. Well, still, it's a terrible idea. Like, you could still get jumped or attacked, even if there's no guns. Went into an empty apartment? What the fuck? I think he was probably lying about that, though. Like, he probably knew the owners or something, but anyways. Yeah, clout is the new form. Like, attention, clout, whatever you want to call it, that's what people want now. And they are willing to do a lot of fucked up things to get it. Because some people subscribe to the idea that any publicity is good publicity. So they're willing to do this fucked up IRL stuff where they're like harassing other people, just fucking endangering other people's lives. Like the example I gave the other day of that idiotic lady on Kick. She is an IRL streamer and she like lied to a homeless person that had a mental disorder and told her that if she jumped into a lake, she would give her some money. So the lady does it and then starts screaming that she can't swim. And then her and her friends just like awkwardly run away and just leave her there. Like, she could have actually fucking died. And as they're driving away, they have like a fire truck and a police car that passes them because they're trying to fucking rescue the lady. And they did all that for a little bit of clout. Like, it's fucking horrible, man. But, you know, and it's like in LA, Los Angeles is very dystopian right now because it's full. Like, every YouTuber that blows up, they for some reason just want to move to LA. These Whippet kids are stupid, driving and passing out live. Yeah. Like like back in the day, Epic Mealtime was like the fastest channel ever to 1 million subscribers. And as soon as they became very successful, moved to LA. It's like, why does everybody fucking go to LA? It's so goddamn expensive. It was expensive in 2010 and it's expensive now. There's this like fitness channel called The Fitness Marshal, where it's a guy named Caleb Marshall and 2 backup dancers, and they do like fitness instructor content where they do dances to like pop songs or whatever. And they were originally based in Indiana. Well, once they got over 1 million subs, straight to LA. It's like, why does everybody fucking go to LA? You know, as many fucked up things as Mr. Beast has done, that's one thing I'll give him credit for, is he stayed his ass in North Carolina because it's cheap and he didn't want to bother with the fucking outrageous cost of getting like a studio space in Los Angeles to record his content. He stayed his ass in North Carolina because it's cheap. Why wouldn't you? So, yeah, LA is a cesspool. And it's funny because like people have recorded videos of them just driving down like Sunset Boulevard and stuff like that. And you just see all the fucking broccoli haired TikTokers are out just doing their little dances and fucking, hey, what's up, chat? Hey guys, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there. It's like it's so dystopian, dude. Fucking everybody has their phones out. Just every influencer, you know? I live in LA and it's not as what Stamp is making it. No, I'm saying people have recorded videos of that happening. I'm not saying it happened when you were there. I'm just saying like people have recorded videos of that happening sometimes. Not saying it happens all the time, of course, and I'm sure it depends a lot on where it is. But yeah. And I think, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like New York City and LA are very sought after places to live just because of their ability to, your ability to network in those places will be it'll be no stronger anywhere else. Living in LA and being a creator and being wealthy will get you in touch with like the most powerful people in entertainment. Straight up. Exactly. Proximity to opportunity. Exactly what I'm trying to get at. I'm just saying it in a really fucking weird roundabout way. And New York City is the same thing. You know, New York City is full of very wealthy investors and you know, a lot of opportunity. Fairfax used to have some cool spots before the riots. Just don't go downtown. Fairfax, Virginia. So, you know, it's a lot of, and I did, you know, funny enough, John was actually on this podcast last year, and I asked him, like, do you regularly encounter like celebrities in LA, or is it not that common? He said it's not super common. You know, he said he's seen some people, but it's not as common as some people make it out to be. And that makes sense because, you know, most people, if they're in the like upper echelon of celebrity, they don't want to walk around fucking downtown LA by themselves. They're gonna have paparazzi harassing them and fucking just random people walking up to them asking them to sign shit. Like, it's got to be fucking miserable. You know, of all people's podcasts, the other day I was watching Jamie Kennedy's podcast, and he said that when he was approached to do The Mask 2, which you guys remember that god-awful movie called Son of the Mask. It was like one of the most disastrous movies ever. It did terribly. But the original Mask was a very successful Jim Carrey movie. So he said, you know, he was at this like Teen Choice Award or something like that. I think it was the Nickelodeon or whatever the fuck. And he was there with some Scream co-actors and you know, other people that he collaborated with. And he approached Jim Carrey because Jim Carrey was also there, and he's like, Jim Carrey was just out of nowhere just talking to him about, man, isn't it nice? He's like, I can't go anywhere, you know, I can't go to the beach, I can't go to the store, but it's nice to go to award shows like this and you know, just sit here by myself and not be bothered. Isn't it great? You know what I mean? Like when he was just approaching him to ask him like, hey, is it okay if I do this? He just couldn't help but get it out that he was so happy to be able to go somewhere and not just be approached by everybody and asked for shit. Yeah, we're on the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. That was a funny ass show, man, for real. He was like the original, the innovator of like the hidden camera type shit. I mean, I guess you could say like Punk'd was in that category too. But he definitely started a lot of that. But yeah. And, you know, I think the other thing to remember is it's just one of those things where, like, I guess you could say in the modern age. Yeah, fucking candid camera. I guess you could say in the modern age, like, everybody wants to meet celebrities, but the reality is most of your interactions with them are going to be boring as fuck. You're going to walk up to them when they're fucking trying to eat dinner at a restaurant. You're going to bother them and be like, oh my God, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? It's like, dude, just let them eat. For the love of God. I see it all the time. Like, they're just fucking people. It's like everybody just forgets that sometimes they just want to be left the fuck alone because OMG, it's this person or that person and I've got to get a photo, you know? Yeah, like we had, it's like going to see bands. Like in America, most people are very jaded because they see bands all the time. When I went and saw Jerome stream, I was genuinely like starstruck. And I wanted to talk to those guys because they're like my favorite band of all time, but they were getting ready and they were getting ready for sound check and stuff. I'm not just going to go fucking interrupt them and be like, you know what? Stop what you're doing and give me my photos, dude. I need my clout. You know what I mean? They're fucking busy. Leave them alone. I'm 100% sure I met Tony Hawk once and he said he wasn't him, which he confesses that he does. Yeah. Do yourself a favor and don't meet your heroes. They're probably doing something and you're going to make it awkward. Yeah. And it's like in reality, there's a fucking hilarious clip of Mango. Do you guys know the Smash player Mango? He's like the best Melee player of all time, like one of the most successful Twitch streamers ever too. And he says this happens all the time. He goes to a tournament, somebody walks up and is like, "Oh, what's up, Mango?" And he's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And then they just stand there. And he's like, "Yeah, man, well, good luck." And then they just walk away and it's so fucking awkward. I guarantee you most of the interactions with your friend is his neighbor. He built his PC. That's awesome. Yeah, I know he lives in Norwalk. But yeah, like that's most of the interactions with celebrities. "Oh my God, you're X, Y, or Z celebrity. What's up, man?" "Oh, you know, doing good." And they're just like, "Well, have a good one, man. I don't want to bother you." It's like, that's all it is, dude. The fuck? Yeah, I know, like, there's a bunch of, like, fucking Meek Mill goes to those sneaker conventions all the time and buys, like, crazy shit. Like, he bought the yellow, the big red boots, but the Croc. Yeah, he bought the big red boots Croc collab, which is, like, the big yellow Crocs or whatever. Because he was buying them for some girl. It's like, man, those things are fucking ugly, but... By the way, big red boots are one of the dumbest things to come out of that entire industry in like years. Anyways, it's especially bad when you see people actually trying to like seriously wear them. So with all that being said about the algorithm and the industry and where to post clips and stuff, is it impossible to grow now? No, I don't think so at all. I think you just have to shift your strategy. I think now you're more likely to blow up based on shorts. And it's more, I think people should start focusing less on games and more on lifestyle related stuff or like tips and tricks or did you know style content. And something that I'm going to start doing, which is kind of a subset of the Nightmare Fuel stuff that we always do, is, yeah, I move away from the mic to breathe. That's the classic right there. That was one of the first like 3 YouTube videos I ever watched, by the way. Hey, what's up, Monster? Also, people move out here for the potential for opportunity. None of it's guaranteed. Yeah, for sure. Like, and that's been going on since the last 50 years because of how close proximity it is to Hollywood. A Tay's on day. Yeah, Mischief just makes memes to see how stupid people are, it seems. Yeah, Gummy made me this. I'm fulfilled. Oh my God, that's sick. What the fuck? Imagine being talented, by the way. Yeah, so, yeah, I think that it's not impossible to grow, but one thing that I'm going to start doing, which is kind of a subset of the Nightmare Fuel stuff that we've been doing and very consistently doing, is I'm going to show or kind of document some of the stuff that they're talking about, but do my own independent research and kind of expand on it more. So like morbid things that have happened or like crazy accidents that happened in the workplace, you know, like the stuff like that. I'm going to try to make YouTube shorts just to kind of talk about some of the crazy shit because there's a lot and there's not a lot of content about it. So, and something else that I want to start doing is like forgotten YouTubers. I want to talk about creators that were around like in the early days of YouTube that kind of disappeared or aren't around anymore. And Twin Perfect and Azurite Reaction are going to be a couple of the first ones that I talk about. They were very large channels at the time that just kind of disappeared all of a sudden. And I want to make videos talking about, like, you know, old veterans of YouTube. I think that would be a really cool video series to kind of detail their content, what I resonated with growing up, why they blew up, those types of things. So I have a lot of people from my old YouTube account that was established in 2007. A lot of people in that sub list that are on there, and I can make videos about all of them. So, it's also small in LA. It just takes hours to get anywhere. Yeah, because the traffic. But yeah, Azurite Reaction's probably going to be my first person that I'm going to make the video about. There's a lot. Twin Perfect will be one. Yeah, Ryan Higa, he disappeared, but I think he was doing, like, he's basically doing production work and advising now, kind of like Matt Pat was doing. So you can still be successful after YouTube, so to speak, because he had such a big foot in the door in the industry that, you know, he had a ton of connections. So he's probably still working on, like, production staff and different things like that. But at the same time, you know, it's not impossible to grow. But it is important that you don't try too hard to, like, work the algorithm. Just because Charlie or SunnyV2 are uploading videos called The Downfall Of doesn't mean you need to fucking completely copy their thumbnail and their cadence and everything. There's so many, like, wannabe moist criticals out there that are all doing the deep voice, sarcastic, cynical humor. There's so fucking many, and it's so obvious, dude. So don't copy exactly. Don't fucking plagiarize. At least put your own spin on it. You know, there's a lot of people that do, like, this Fortnite skin has over whatever combinations, you know, that type of thing. And that's fine, but, like, they straight up copy and rip each other off all the time. So, you know, that's a huge problem right now, is, like, stolen or completely plagiarized content. And some people would even argue React content is stealing, like we were talking about earlier. So, no, at the end of the day, I think that it is still worthwhile. And every person that approaches me and is like, hey, should I stream? I'm like, well, my numbers aren't anything to go by. But yeah, I think everybody should stream, because it's going to, if you're someone who's naturally introverted, you could obviously do VTuber stuff if you don't actually want to be on camera. Some people do VTuber stuff because it's for their own safety. Like, they don't want to get doxxed if they're talking about sensitive topics. And in this fucking increasingly more psychotic world that we live in, I totally understand that. I didn't like early short hair, Charlie. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually crazy. He's been on YouTube since, like, 2009. I didn't realize he had been around for that long, but yeah, a lot of people do the VTuber thing as literally like a mask so that you don't have to show who you actually are. Because in this increasingly psychotic world we live in, it seems like getting doxxed is like a rite of passage to becoming like an established YouTube creator, unfortunately. As we've seen with, like, the completely unnecessary doxing of people like Luke Stevens, who, I guess because someone was very upset about his opinion on the Suicide Squad game that Rocksteady Studios put out, they decided to dox him and swat him at the same time. They did both. So that's cool, you know, that we live in a world where if you have the incorrect opinion on a video game, you can be swatted. So I understand why some people do the VTubing thing, but again, I always say this, I harp on it all the time because it's super true. The most important skill in life is communication. Honing your ability to communicate, especially communicating with several people at once by way of whether it's a chat or actually talking to people, is so, so important. And it's important in way more facets in life than just making content. You know, having good communication skills have helped me nail down jobs that I otherwise wouldn't have been qualified for. 100%. Yeah, dude, Kendo, I did not realize how much money was involved in those models. Holy shit. And like the rigging, you mentioned how imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but that whole quote is so much more damning. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Modern YouTubers are just copies, desperate to replicate the success of those who came before them, misunderstanding that the success they're trying to recreate is built on personality and luck. Yeah. and finding the right niche, right? In some cases, people like Asmongold, as an example, they started out doing one thing and sort of transitioned to doing something new organically without, like, they didn't make some video. Asmongold didn't get on camera and say, guys, from here on out, I'm tired of World of Warcraft. We're going political, baby. Full speed ahead political content. Like, he didn't do that. Because why would you? You know, once your audience reaches a certain point, they're pretty much going to stick with you like ride or die, regardless of what you do. So it's actually in your best interest to diversify what you do so you don't go crazy. And so your chat doesn't get bored. And that's kind of where speedrunning feels very limiting to me. I love Orchlon. He's a Resident Evil speedrunner. He plays like every remake, a bunch of the classic games too. Like, you never really know what he's going to play, but he is mainly a Resident Evil speedrunner. So it's like, yeah, he has like a few different games and scenarios he can choose from, but at the end of the day, that seems like a very limiting thing. And every time he streams, he has to speedrun. He has to play a Resident Evil game or people are just going to tune out. You know what I mean? So I think, sure, if you find some success with a particular game or genre or subgenre of games, once you grow to a certain point, then you can expand things out. But I think there is a little bit of trying too hard to be like already successful people going on, because they think, well, this person, they have the formula, so I'm just going to take the formula and modify it as if I'm copying someone's homework. But it doesn't work that way. It does not fucking work that way. And I've said this before, Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers are not stupid. They can tell when you're copying someone else's video and when you're not being authentic. So, and we're all, you know, everything comes from something. Every band, especially modern band, was influenced by a band that came before them. And so if you were very inspired by certain content creators or YouTubers growing up, you're naturally going to have some qualities that they exuded, and you're going to bring those to the stream, like the cadence, the way that they say certain things, jokes that they made way back when that you thought were funny, you're going to like modify and say them. Or just make references to their older videos. Just speedrun your Twitch career and start a crypto. Oh my God. Well, no, I'm not ready to go to that arc yet, but maybe someday. Yeah, if the button wasn't obvious, that was a joke, but that's where personality comes in to stream anything and keep retention. Yeah. And I almost feel like for me and for other people, it's actually a better strategy to not, especially if you want to play a particular game, to not watch other people play that game. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, I find that if I watch somebody else play something too much, I naturally start to kind of implement some things that they do and say while they play it. And I don't want to be them. I want to be me. So like, I don't want to be known as somebody who is taking what someone else is doing and modifying it. I want to be known as just doing what I do. So that's why when I play Silent Hill games, I say a lot of things. Yeah. And I yap about a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, nobody else is yapping about that shit. So they may be, but they won't be doing it in the exact same way that I did. The cuck coin. Oh my God. Me, LOL, I steal your jokes. Hey, in this case though, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I'm 100% okay with it. I'm not going to get salty about it. But I think it just is always more important to be yourself. Like, I see a lot, like, whenever people are big fans of a certain band, they're always like, oh, what pedals do you use? What amps do you, like, they always want to know what equipment somebody's using to get a certain tone. And Jerome's Dream is like this, and a few other bands are like this, where they're like, I don't want to just tell you because I don't want you to copy my sound. I want you to make your own sound, you know? I think that's incredibly important as far as content is concerned. Don't copy someone's shot, like the way that they sit in front of the camera. Don't copy their jokes. Don't copy their cadence. I get that there's only so many ways of saying the same thing, but it's incredibly important to do things in a unique way, because otherwise, you know, you're just like a drop in the bucket. You're a dime a dozen creator talking about the same shit that a bunch of other people are talking about. So it is incredibly important to distance yourself from that and just do your own thing. And if it's not successful, cool, you can try something else. But if you end up finding your niche and you find some success there, then it was all worth it, you know? And again, nobody's going to see, this is what YOLO said to me the other day. It's so true. Nobody's going to see, like for Shroud is an example. Nobody sees that Shroud used to stream to 0 people for like 2 straight years. Nobody saw that. They only see the massively successful streamer now, but they didn't see that he streamed to literally 0 people for 2 straight years playing CSGO. Just like they may not have seen the streams that XQC did in the very beginning when he was on like Denial Esports and he was just playing Overwatch in the super early days and had like 50 subs was like a celebration stream for him, you know? So nobody ever sees the process. They just see the end result. And it's so funny to me because I always see comments like, how is this person so successful? It doesn't seem like they're doing anything special. Well, it's because they grinded their ass off for 5, 6, 7 fucking years to get here. And you didn't see any of that. You just see them as they are now as a success, wondering how it got here. So, no, it is not impossible to grow in 2025. I just think that gaming content is kind of dying out. And we're moving into more of a tabloid, TMZ-ish YouTube atmosphere. And most of the clips I see that are blowing up are like podcast clips of lifestyle coaches and psychologists and fitness instructors talking about how to turn your life around, you know what I mean? And do things like that. YouTube brought me to Twitch, yeah. Yeah, the 2 platforms have very different strengths. YouTube is good for discoverability because you can, quote unquote, win the algorithm lottery, and it's not too difficult. And Twitch is good for interaction. Because unless you're live frequently on YouTube, you're not going to be able to respond to comments live. You're going to have to like pick and choose very particular comments to respond to and stuff like that. So, I just think that things are shifting in a big way now, and it's going to be something that we're going to start noticing. Because I mean, like I said, gaming content, it's become a massive culture war, and like we saw with the Hogwarts Legacy shit and the Atomic Heart bullshit, Avowed and Kingdom Come Deliver. Like it seems like every AAA game that comes out now is like mired in controversy, and if you play the game, you're platforming it, and if you don't play the game, you're a chud or an incel. So, you know, it's like I feel like more people are interested in just watching just chatting stuff, podcasts, and all these different things. So speaking of, I was on the wrong scene. That's hilarious. Anyways, it doesn't change the fact that we were still recording. So I think that it is a change, and it's weird for people like me that grew up at a time where Twitch was strictly video gaming and nothing else. But, you know, it's important to be dynamic and never be too set in your ways to change your shit up and say like, all right, I'm just going to talk for a whole stream. I think if you clip your Silent Hill playthroughs where you say a bunch of trivial / informal stuff, make a bunch of shorts and schedule upload them, that would be big. Yeah, did you know Silent Hill content is still very, very popular, which I'm super thankful for. So I think that would be an excellent idea, is like just do a super in-depth story playthrough of Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 and kind of chop those up into a bunch of YouTube shorts to kind of explain things that people maybe didn't see or small details they might have missed. I think that would be a great idea. So that's definitely something that we can look forward to in the future. So to wrap things up, you know, I'm very, as much as I might seem like I'm cynical, I promise you I'm not. I have a lot of motivation to get the shorts engine going and get a bunch of YouTube shorts up. But I think that it's like going to a fucking music college or something along those lines. You're going to get out of it exactly what you put in. Yeah, I like to throw on something I can just listen to and not have to watch so I can do other things at the same time. Me too. Now that I have fucking unlimited data, dude, when I go to the grocery store, I like to watch Twitch streamers and shit as I'm like walking around. When I'm at the gym, I like to do that. So yeah, I think it's really important. And, you know, YouTube shorts don't have to be difficult. YouTube shorts are literally designed to be low effort content. They're designed to be uploaded in bulk several times a day. Scheduled uploads is a great strategy. You just basically, it's like meal prepping, for God's sake. You take a whole Sunday, you chop up and edit like 40 YouTube shorts, and you just upload them once a day. So you're covered for a whole fucking month because of one day of work. It doesn't necessarily have to be that many, but you get the idea. You can do that when you're not busy. Over a weekend or whatever. You can put a bunch of YouTube shorts together. They're literally designed to be low effort but high virality content. And then when you do have some more time, you can bust open Adobe Premiere and put together a very in-depth video. And that kind of creates your two, it's like your two, the positive and negative of the battery, you know, to get the shit going, to power your channel up, to get the content engine going, so to speak. And then, you know, if you're so inclined, you can live stream occasionally. But I definitely recommend, if you're trying to grow on YouTube, to focus far more on that and less on being live all the time. Because again, the more often that you're live, the less time you have to create and upload videos. So, well, good God, have I yapped a lot. But trust me, I had a lot to talk about tonight. And that's going to be it for this episode. So I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and you know, chat is going to be immortalized here because I don't want to lose chat in the VODs. And we're going to be doing this every Wednesday night for the foreseeable future. So if anybody's interested in watching it, twitch.tv/ or twitch.tv/StampedG. You can see it right there. It's tough because the angle's weird. So appreciate everybody watching, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Okay, for the love of God, I need some music. No, the stream's not over, just the recording. Oh my God, dude, the dead silence. All I could hear was my own voice. Holy shit, how do you guys put up with that? Woo. Shout out DraftKings. Yeah, I'm not even sponsored, but shout out DraftKings and Manscaped. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Dr. Red, for the VOD. Yeah. Okay, so we have one last thing on the agenda for tonight. Oh my God. That was an hour and 57-minute long episode. What the fuck? Well, we have one last thing on the agenda tonight, and that's to watch the Nightmare Fuel video we didn't get to. It's 20 minutes. So let's do that. And then I also wanted to check, just for the fun of it, and see how big that video file is. It's going to be fucking huge. Watch. So that video file that we just recorded is 23 gigabytes. Holy shit, dude. 23 gigabytes. That is a massive. But for 2 hours of 1080p footage, that's actually not terrible. That's actually fine. Now let's see what the quality turned out like. Oh God, I can feel my voice going, dude. You know what, guys? I thoroughly enjoy this shit, though. I'm gonna be honest. I think stamp of approval. We're gonna be doing some cool shit in the future. Okay, I don't want to hear it. I just want to see it. Okay, so here's how the video turned out. Damn, it looks pretty clean, dude. This is at like 20,000 bit rate, by the way, straight from the camera. That's pretty good. We'll take it. An hour and 52-minute long episode. Holy shit. Okay. All right, sweet. So let me go ahead and sip some water. And I do believe it's time for us to watch this damn video. It's darkest moments caught on live stream. Whew. And thank you guys for watching, by the way. Holy shit. You guys always add so much value to the conversations. Like the conversations are like 2 out of 10 talking points until you guys bring your perspectives in, and then they like elevate to a 9 or a 10 out of 10 talking point. It's so fucking awesome. That's why this show's strength is being live, because if it's not live, then we don't have that, and it's just me yapping about bullshit and getting off on tangents, you know? Always got to have some other perspectives. It's super important. Kinda true. Yeah, I don't want to give too much credit. Just kidding. You guys know the score. You guys know it's important. All right. So with that being said, I definitely didn't just drop my straw on the floor, by the way. Let's get this video, because I want to see it. We need a round table just yapping. Dude, listen, my Discord server is boosted so we get good audio quality in there. Anybody that wants to come on my stream and talk about anything, you just let me know. I am happy to get people on here and have a meaningful conversation with anybody. Anybody. That's an open invitation. Third, yeah, water, coffee, protein shake, fucking creatine mixed with water. 17 different cups all in one row. Can of Coke. Sorry, I don't actually have that accent where I would say Coke. Okay. Darkest Moments live stream. This was by Chilling Scares, I believe. Yes. 4 most disturbing moments caught on live stream footage. Okay. Oh, this is Firefox. I need to swap over to Chrome because Chrome isn't signed in anywhere except YouTube, so we don't get ads.
In December of...
Whoa, sorry guys. That was too loud. Boom. All right. Nightmare Fuel segment. I'm just going to call it number 38.
2022, the authorities in Northern Ireland came across a bizarre crime scene where the most likely suspect was somehow in 2 places at once.
Sound good?
It all started on the 18th of December when Irish YouTuber VoteSaxon07, whose real identity is 33-year-old Stephen McCullen, live-streamed himself playing GTA Vice City. The stream started at around 6 p.m. and Stephen stayed live for about 6 hours, till midnight. The stream itself was quite unremarkable, with Stephen playing the game mostly in silence, broken by his occasional commentary. Unfortunately, while he was streaming comfortably in his home, his 32-year-old girlfriend, Natalie McNally, was going through something downright horrific. Stephen, however, was completely unaware of this and promptly went to sleep after ending the stream. The next day, he woke up to a barrage of calls and messages regarding Natalie. She was apparently at her parents' house the night before to watch the World Cup finale. The match ended at around 6 p.m. and Natalie went back to her home shortly after, which wasn't too far away. She lived alone in Northern Ireland with her 2 cats and a dog. However, the next day, no one could get through to Natalie. She didn't show up to work and wasn't picking up her phone either. At the time, she was also 15...
I think I remember this one. Didn't he... Okay, I'm not going to spoil, but I think he like set the live stream to play automatically, but he wasn't actually home.
...weeks pregnant with Stephen's child. So when she went silent, her friends and family grew worried, fearing she was facing some health concerns.
It wasn't from this
After
channel,
learning
but I
about
think
her
I've heard of
absence
this.
and waiting a few hours for a response, Stephen went to her home, which was about 20 minutes away from his home in Lisburn. Unfortunately, he was too late. When Stephen arrived at Natalie's home, the door was wide open. Inside, he found her lifeless on the floor. She had been killed.
Detectives from the Major Investigation Team have now launched a murder investigation following the death of Natalie McNally in Lurgan. This follows the results of the post-mortem. The 32-year-old died a violent death.
Hey, what's up, Pitt?
Having been
How you
stabbed
doing, man?
a number of times, and there are signs of defensive injuries.
Post-mortem reports showed that she was killed on the night of December 18th, not long after she came back from her parents' home. However, investigators did not find any evidence of a forced entry into her home. This, combined with the fact that Stephen was the one who reported her death to the police, made him the lead suspect in her murder investigation.
Yeah, and you know what the sad reality is? Most of the time when it's a couple, if either one of the couple is either hurt or killed, the other person in the relationship is always suspect number 1. It just is, because it's so common. Had a chaotic day, but I'm alright. Dude, today was a blessing here. We had amazing weather. It was nice and sunny. I went out and got like 8,000 steps in, walked around my neighborhood several times. I was fucking loving it. I got tons of sun today. I'm feeling great. We actually recorded the first episode of Stamp of Approval earlier, so we're bringing that shit back. I'm going to start the YouTube Shorts grind with Did You Know Silent Hill and Morbid Facts and other things. Not ripping off the other dude that does Morbid Facts, but, you know, different stuff. You'll see. But we got a lot of stuff in the oven right now. We just got to cook it, you know?
And he was arrested shortly after. However, this arrest didn't last long, because as the authorities quickly found out, Steven had a strong alibi. According to the post-mortem report, Natalie was killed during the same time Steven was live streaming from his home. Investigators looked through Natalie's phone and found the last text Steven sent to her at 5:57 p.m., which read, "Right, I'm off to stream the night away. Wish me luck." To which Natalie replied, "I might have a peek at your live stream later." This was enough to clear Steven's name from any wrongdoing, but it left investigators with no clear direction on where to look next. Steven did give them the name of someone he suspected, however, investigating that person didn't lead to any breakthrough in the case either, and the name of this person was never made public for this reason. Luckily, detectives found CCTV footage a few days later showing a man dressed in dark clothes and white shoes heading towards Natalie's home at 8:52 p.m., and then the same person going back about 40 minutes later. Given his timing, investigators determined that this was the killer. Shockingly, he had the same height and build as Steven. This put him on the radar once again, but it also raised a valid question. If Steven was the perpetrator, how could he be in two places at the same time?
Yeah.
Without any other option, the authorities put a £20,000 reward for information regarding the killer and continued investigating. They also feared that by the time they started this investigation, the killer could have easily fled to any of the neighboring countries. In the meantime, Natalie's case had become national news, resulting in multiple memorials around the country. This put even more pressure on the investigators to find the killer as quickly as possible. They made several arrests and even seized the suspect's car. Investigators also found the weapon the killer used on the 5th of January 2023, which was a knife from her own home. However, none of these developments brought them any closer to identifying the killer. That is until January 31st, when they arrested Steven again, but
Yeah, how did they find out?
this time with solid evidence. As it turns out, the only thing keeping him out of suspicion, the live stream, was completely fake.
Pre-recorded.
The whole thing was pre-recorded and broadcasted to simply look like a live stream. After his
The Violent Night Christmas live gaming stream.
arrest, investigators went through his computer and
title
found
of
the
that,
original
too.
recording, which was made on the 14th of December, 4 days before the incident. They also found a taxi driver who described picking up someone matching Steven's profile near the murder at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
and then dropping this person near Steven's house. Most importantly, according to the taxi driver, this passenger had forgotten his wallet at home, so he quickly ran inside his house to get the money. And as expected, he ran into Steven's home. All this evidence left no doubt in the fact that Steven was the one who went to Natalie's home to commit a predetermined crime. In hindsight, there were plenty of suspicious moments during the fake live stream that should have raised more alarms.
Probably not responding to chat. What he probably did was just make a bunch of generic comments about the game, because he obviously can't respond to chat if he's not live.
For starters, the stream was titled The Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream. At the start of the stream, Steven also claimed that he was having technical issues with the streaming software, which he used as an excuse as to why he wouldn't be able to interact with the live chat.
Of course.
Well, because this streaming software is kind of up the left, it means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. So, by all means, talk amongst yourselves.
This ensured that no one questioned why he wasn't talking with his viewers, which is essentially the whole point of doing a stream instead of posting a pre-recorded video. At the start of the stream, Steven made sure to repeatedly mention what day it was.
Hello to all on this glorious Sunday evening. So I just thought, why not? I'm gonna do a live stream.
And he fucking recorded this on December 14th, so he had to remember the fake date in advance that he was going to kill her. That's so fucked up.
Because this day next week is Christmas. So what more could you want for Christmas other than an evening with your old pal Steven?
This was likely an effort to make his alibi stronger and to say, look, I was streaming the same night, I even mentioned the day at the beginning. On top of that, many moments in the stream also took on a far more disturbing meaning after the truth came out. Like him singing about killing someone in-game, which can also be interpreted as him cryptically talking about his girlfriend.
I need to kill it. I need to take her down. 'Cause I won't pass the mission if I don't get this to die. Tra-la-la.
At another point during the stream, he makes a pun that sounds like Natalie's name and finds it unusually amusing.
Yeah, that's physics.
Is this stream still up? I'll check after the video.
That's what would happen in the real world. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The most creepy moment, however, was about halfway through the stream. While he was on break, suddenly the live stream back soon graphic switched with a poster of a James Bond movie called No Time to Die. Steven later claimed that this was an accident. He accidentally dropped his controller on the keypad, which made the strange graphic come up. But since we now know that the live stream was pre-recorded, Steven deliberately included this graphic at this point during the editing, likely alluding to the crime he was going to commit on that day. This theory becomes even more credible once you consider the fact that this movie poster came up at about 9:15 p.m., which perfectly aligns with the time he was at Natalie's house committing the brutal crime. That said, his clever schemes were derailed and he was charged with murder. He was also
stabbed and beaten to death at her Silverwood Green home in Lurgan, CO. December 18th, McCullough, 33, of Woodland Gardens in Lisburn, was refused bail on charge of carrying out her murder.
Refused bail. And at the time of writing, he's awaiting trial on May 6, 2025. Hopefully, Natalie and her family can get the justice they deserve.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. I remember I can't remember what video it was on, but I remember hearing about that for the first time. And yeah, it's so, once you know the truth, it's so blatant in the beginning where it's like, it's this exact day. And, you know, my chat is just somehow magically broken today. So talk amongst yourselves. It's like, why would you even go live if there's no chat? It's such a bullshit alibi.
2020, Ernest Wilson.
Yeah, we saw that one on a different video, but it's been a long time. It's been several months.
Went live on Facebook during a house party, without knowing that these were his final moments alive. Ernest was a 24-year-old warehouse worker living in Baltimore, Maryland. The only passion he had in life was for partying, playing board games, and turning them into drinking games. Unfortunately, the 2020 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown closed every public venue he frequented. So he decided to take matters in his own hands and came up
Oh, yeah. I'll... Here. Yep, it's still up.
Yeah, a little bit out of the blue, this, isn't it? But, hang on, my levels are just a nightmare, a bit better framed, but, that's the fun of being live. Yes, so, hello to all on this glorious Sunday evening. Yeah, so, I just thought, why not? I'm gonna do a live stream, because, this day next week is Christmas. So, what...
He looks very fucking not there in this video even. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. Just the fact that he was already premeditating killing somebody when he recorded this well in advance, knowing what it was going to be used for, that's what makes it so fucked up.
More could you want for Christmas other than an evening with your old pal Steven? I genuinely do not know how long this stream is going to last for, and I've decided I'm going to play around with it and do something a little bit different. I wanted to do a live stream, and I've been wanting to do one for quite some time now. Only trouble is, there's a couple of elements, shall we say, that have been preventing me from doing anything. Mostly it has been work, and it has been stuff in my private life. It's also been the fact that this computer is on its last legs, the fact that I've had so many YouTube videos to work through. It's all been a bit of a nightmare. Yes, it has. In fact, to tell you a wonderful little story, all this past week, I have been trying to hook up a PS3 to this streaming software. Is it streaming? Yes, it is. Oh, thank God. and it's just been a complete disaster. Like, I've went out, I've bought new cables.
At 17:59, he makes a throwaway joke about drinking and driving and immediately reinforces that he's not leaving the house tonight while staring at the camera. It's this type of stuff that seems so innocent, but with context becomes far more sinister. Yeah. They're also happy he's live, yeah.
Capture card, everything. Nothing works. So what I've decided to do tonight is just do a bit of Xbox streaming. Oh, hang on. I'm some Xbox gaming, but with different games.
When does he say the
Yeah,
chat isn't
went out.
working?
But my original idea for this was I fancied playing a bit of Grand Theft Auto 4. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto 4 in a long time, and I'm itching for a remaster of it, or even a re-release of it on PS5. The road was made out of glass, and I was like, pardon me, couldn't. In fact, this stream, I'm very worried about. It could end at any moment, because I've been trying to set this up, and even by setting up the Xbox and the Xbox cables and wires, and it just came up going like, oh, that's just what you want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, so the first 6 minutes he's talking about tech issues. He's trying to set up the premise that the chat also isn't working. So if your capture card's not working, your fucking consoles aren't working, your game's not working, your chat's not working, you just don't need to stream, dude. Holy fuck.
Because this is quite an old computer. It's getting on a little bit. I'm going to have to... This one's kind of hanging along, you know, like smoke is billowing out of it. It looks like it's rocking away. Trouble is, it's in a very limited capacity. So you may see that the quality of this whole stream that we've got going on here is a little bit crap. And on top of that, like literally all the OBS software could manage is this box. Help, I'm trapped in the box that I'm currently in. My little Merry Christmas Destiny, that's where...
But it can handle the fancy transition and graphic of the James Bond poster.
The game is going to be streamed. And then, of course, the nice festive red background. And, of course, I'm wearing my little Santa hat as well. Look at that. Flopping around. I thought that the headphones would muck with it, but what we're doing tonight? Well, check the live chat. This streaming software is kind of up the left. It means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. So
Bullshit, dude. You could pull up your phone. There's so many other ways. Yeah. What a terrible attempt at an alibi. I'm really glad it didn't work.
With a solid plan, he would rent Airbnbs, host an invite-only party which he referred to as a game night with a fee to cover the expenses, and have a good time with his friends. These parties started off small but quickly grew in numbers as more and more people became aware of them. And on April 3rd, he went onto Facebook to plan another party that weekend, asking, "Should I do game nights again this weekend?" And
Ernest
"We
from
played hide
Geico?
and seek at game night tonight?" After receiving enough confirmations, he decided to go ahead with the plans and announced a 2-day game night with free entry for girls and a $5 fee for the guys. Not long after this announcement, he also made a post about bringing uninvited people, stating, "Please don't show up with nobody I didn't personally invite if we didn't discuss it first. They're going to get left outside." Maybe he had experienced problems with uninvited guests at past events. Or maybe he simply wanted to know the exact number of attendees ahead of time. But in hindsight, his concern makes a lot more sense. As the night approached, Ernest started the event, and it went just as well as he could have hoped, with everyone dancing and having a good time. That is until 2:30 a.m. when the group decided to play the hide-and-seek game they discussed earlier. Ernest took charge as the first seeker and began a countdown at the Airbnb's backyard.
Oh, it's an Airbnb? Oh, fuck that.
2.
Dude, no bullshit. Like human traffickers and other fucked up people like stake out houses that they know are used for Airbnbs just to commit crimes and do other crazy shit around them. So they can be really dangerous if you're not careful.
3, 4, 5, 6.
However, as soon as he began searching for his friends, he stumbled upon something completely unexpected.
1, 2, 3. Who the is that, G?
I don't know.
Get your on the other side of this gate. Who the? This can't be one of my friends.
He saw someone trying to jump the fence and break into the property. Now, the correct response would have been to go back inside to safety and call the cops on this intruder. However, Ernest was already a bit under the influence at the time and made the biggest mistake of his life. He decided to confront the man on his own, and that's when things took a turn. The intruder was armed, and after some back and forth, tragically shot Ernest before fleeing the scene, all of which could be heard on the live stream. The police arrived at the property at 2:45 a.m. where they found Ernest lying in a pool of his own blood. According to the few statements that were released to the public, this appeared to be a case of a robbery gone wrong. However, some believe there was more to the story. This is because during Ernest's struggle with the intruder, a girl can be heard laughing in the background.
Well, to be fair, they were drinking, and at first he was like joking around, like, get your dumbass, you know, he's like telling him to get back over the fence. So maybe they thought it was just one of their friends that was there messing around. I don't think that's entirely incriminating, but it is disturbing.
As the story goes, this girl was an accomplice of the intruder who planned to either rob the place or eliminate Ernest for some reason, with one person on YouTube writing, "That girl tried to let someone in the front door, or she knew who tried coming through the door. Once discovering it was locked, she told them to hop the fence as clear as day. I would start with her boyfriend." Unfortunately, from what I can find, the police never caught the suspect, and Ernest's case remains open to this day. So, whatever their motive was, I doubt we'll ever know, especially 5 years later. On September 7th, 2024, a 32-year-old man by the name of Joseph Couch opened fire on vehicles traveling down I-75 near the city of London, Kentucky. He managed to hit 12 cars,
oh, I heard about
injuring
this.
5 people.
What is this, live?
Fortunately, there were no fatalities.
Where's the live stream in this?
As authorities rushed to his location, Joseph managed to escape into the wooded area alongside the highway. This left the investigators with no choice but to search the Daniel Boone National Forest, hoping to find the mass shooter. In the meantime, they also began looking into Joseph's past and made some chilling discoveries. He served in the Army Reserve from 2013 to 2019 before receiving an honorable discharge due to him developing PTSD. More importantly, this wasn't his first entanglement with law enforcement. Back in 2015, he was arrested for throwing a rock at a dog and then pointing an AR-15 at its owner. Joseph had to pay $1,000 for bail, and the case was later dismissed a few months later. However, the same year he was arrested again, this time for supplying a minor with alcohol and vandalizing private property with spray paint. This resulted in him having to spend 6 months in jail, alongside 200 hours of community service and a $1,500 fine. All of this highlighted just how mentally unstable he was, something that became even more apparent when investigators factored in the messages he sent to his ex before the shooting.
Kentucky is literally just
These
trees.
read, "I'm going to kill a lot of people. Well, at least try. I'll kill myself afterwards." His past record and these texts also made it clear that Joseph wouldn't go down without a fight if they managed to find him. Unfortunately, the search for him wasn't progressing as smoothly as they'd hoped.
The search for the suspected highway gunman, Joseph Couch, intensifies as law enforcement has
Maybe it's just me, but I find it really disturbing how these news anchors are just smiling with like all their makeup on while they talk about all this fucked up stuff. They're so used to just reading whatever horrific thing the teleprompter spits out. It's almost disturbing how they smile while they say it.
For the suspected highway gunman, Joseph Couch, intensifies as law enforcement has expanded its search efforts. State police say they are extending their search deeper into the Daniel Boone National Forest as the manhunt for Couch enters day 7.
Local agencies were forced to close a section of I-75 and shut down schools, fearing Joseph might strike again. Eventually, they did manage to find his SUV, which also had numerous cases of ammo for the AR-15 style rifle he used for the shooting. However, this didn't provide any clues about his current whereabouts. In a desperate measure, the authorities put a $35,000 reward for finding Joseph to enlist the help of locals. And that's where the McCoy couple entered the picture. Fred McCoy and his wife Sheila operate a museum dedicated to the historic feud between the Hatfield and McCoy families in Kentucky. They also run a small YouTube channel dedicated to this museum called Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures, where they discuss the various aspects of that feud in greater detail. After hearing about the massive reward, the couple decided to give it a go. They had lived in the area their entire lives and knew the wilderness well.
$35,000. That's a sweet little piece of money. we're going looking for him. We're hoping he finds us, but we're going looking for this Couch guy, Joseph Couch.
They also decided to live stream their adventure through the Kentucky forest on YouTube, likely to have an instant record of whatever they find.
I was going to say, that's where the live aspect comes in. The whole time I was like, when was this live?
They truly believed they could find him, and luck was on their side, because during one of their live streamed expeditions, Fred noticed a whole bunch of vultures hovering over the same area, possibly indicating a rotting corpse nearby. The two decided to head towards the vultures, and just 30 minutes later, the McCoys found what they were looking for.
You found him? Oh, my Lanta.
She actually said, oh my Lanta. I say that as a joke all the time. I didn't know people actually said that.
I'm coming. Oh, my Lanta, you found him? Oh, my Lanta.
They immediately alerted the authorities, who used DNA testing to confirm the body was indeed Joseph Couch.
I don't know what it means unless they're talking about Atlanta. There's also my Lanta, the heartburn medicine. That's the only two Lantas I know of.
Ouch. A later autopsy report also confirmed that he went through with the plan he talked about in his message. After 13 days of searching, the I-75 shooter mystery finally came to a close, ending the manhunt and easing the fear of Joseph still being out there. On October 28, 2019, a 47-year-old Japanese man named Tetsu Shiohara live-streamed himself climbing Mount Fuji. And what was supposed to be nothing more than a fun stream quickly turned into an avoidable tragedy. You see, Tetsu had been climbing Mount Fuji since 2017 and had already reached the summit many times. However...
Whoa, oh my god. Dude, that's gotta be one of the... I know this is gonna end in tragedy and I'm sorry for this, but... seriously, that is one of the most beautiful views you will ever see in your life. Is the summit of a mountain like that?
All of those previous expeditions were during the climbing season, which stretches from July to mid-September. And while it's not an easy task, it's far safer during these months with maintained trails, milder weather, and resting huts along the way that also sell essential supplies like food and oxygen cans. So when Tetsu decided to climb the mountain in late October, it was already covered in thick...
By the way, he looked 47. He does not look 47.
...slippery snow. And the conditions were far harsher than he could have imagined, with winds reaching up to 60 miles per hour. All of the resting spots on the mountain were also closed for the off-season. But despite this being his first off-season climb, the unfavorable conditions did not deter Tetsu. He was determined to reach the summit and make it back in a single day. Unfortunately, the stream didn't get off to a good start, as he forgot to bring essentials like thicker socks to keep his feet warm and crampons to prevent his shoes from slipping.
ソックスあ、靴下あれ靴下忘れたいや違う違うバス何がちょっと待って
Later, he also commented on how he didn't bring any food with him to avoid making his backpack too heavy. But as the climb continued, not having food became the least of his worries, as he quickly realized the snow that day was deeper than he could have imagined. On his way to the top, he passed several points where the trail had collapsed due to bad weather. About 2 hours...
Yeah, at that point, you turn the fuck around. Look at that. The ground could collapse that he's walking on right there.
To the hike, his viewers started to notice how dangerous things were getting as well, and began urging him to turn back before reaching the summit.
He has text-to-speech.
However, he ignored all the warning signs and pressed on with the hike, and by sheer willpower actually managed to get close to the summit. Sadly, this is where his luck ran out. While treading through a particularly steep section of the trail, Tetsu slipped and fell down the mountainside.
Holy shit.
Seconds after slipping, his phone hit a rock and turned off, ending the live stream. His viewers immediately alerted...
Dude, that was like right at the edge of a fucking massive cliff too. Did you see how much speed he got almost instantly?
...the authorities. However, due to the harsh conditions, it took rescue workers 2 days to locate Tetsu's body. They found it severely dismembered, 2,300 feet below the point where he'd slipped. Now, for most people, this was an open and shut case of an inexperienced and underprepared person misjudging the dangers of Mount Fuji. But I came across some interesting theories regarding the situation. For example, one person stated, "I don't think he wanted to go exactly how/where he did on the mountain, but if you ever saw the live stream, you'd know that he definitely was planning on doing it, probably at the top. The chat was begging him to turn back, and he made constant, likely deliberate references to not being fully equipped. Additionally, he had a very ample and generous amount of time to turn around if it had purely been a mistake, with the last few people he met warning him to not go any further. In other words, Tetsu intended to end everything that day. The missing equipment was a deliberate decision, not an oversight."
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a little weird how you would go to do this and just not bring anything.
Although there's no evidence to prove this theory, and we'll never know for sure if this was actually his intention.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And we'll never know. But you know, Reddit likes to theorize, and a lot of times they like to extrapolate things when they don't really exist. So you can't really trust Reddit as a source for everything on that. But great video, very fucked up, and very accurate. That it is very disturbing, all those moments. So, oh man. Yeah, I don't even really know what to say. I'm surprised YouTube left that live stream up. Yeah, I mean, he could have just wanted to just put your Toy Story hat on and go into the forest. No. Well, anyways, you guys, my voice is about to go, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and end it. I don't see anybody else really on for us to raid, but if you want to join my Discord, there's the link. And there's my couple of YouTube channels. Thank you guys, especially for sticking around and watching the podcast. It was fucking awesome. I probably could have talked for another 2 hours, but getting a little bit long-winded. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and break the chains on room 302 and free everybody. Yeah, season 2 is well underway, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will get that up on YouTube. So with that being said, I'm going to break those chains in 3, 2, 1.